straight out to the paint.
The flagrant fouls. Do you regret any of it, and if so, why?
I could say that I probably wouldn't do those things again. A lot of things that I did, I probably wouldn't do again. I don't plan on getting suspended for the remainder of my career in the league. A lot of things happen. I'm glad I went through it now, in the playoffs or later down the line.
Trash talking, glaring right at that heat bench, and Pat Riley is fired up. Artest get hit with a technical foul.
I didn't bump Pat Riley. They said I bumped Pat Riley. I didn't bump Pat Riley. As I was walking back, I brushed into Pat Riley. Pat Riley was trying to hold my arm. I didn't bump Pat Riley. How can they say I bumped him? And they really said it, and this is on TV, and they saying I bumped Pat Riley. So it was amazing how that story came out.
It's also been documented that you've taken medication, and that's also been helpful at times in terms of your emotional outbursts. Are you taking your medicine now? Do you plan on staying on it?
Well, when I was in Chicago, they didn't even take medicine, and it was documented, but I threw the medicine in the dog. I never took medicine in my life. That's not for me. Just how I play the game, and I have a lot of passion for my job, and it's an opportunity of a lifetime for me to be here. So I'm going to play with my aggressiveness, passion every night.
There are going to be tense moments out there where the emotions can flow over. Do you think that this team trusts you now to be able to handle those situations?
Yeah, I'm not anybody mind, but I think for all the successes I've been through, when I come back, I'm focused and I'm putting up numbers and winning. I could be suspended 7 games. I'm coming back like I was in shape. Like I played the whole 7 games. You come back and win. I get over it.
Who do you think through these difficult times, and I would imagine they've been tough just because you've been dealing with the suspensions and maybe publicity, who has been the biggest influence for you?
Like, it hasn't been that tough though. Like all the suspensions, the learning process, I learned from it. The negative publicity, I can care less. I can care less what people think about me. As long as the people in my neighborhood that I do things for are doing, they're doing good, and I'm trying to keep them off the street. As long as they're doing fine, I can care less what anybody thinks about me.
What do you think people get wrong the most about Ron Artest?
I think people think I really can't control myself, and that maybe that I'm just I heard some people say thugs. all the thugs. I mean, thugs on the street. Thugs shooting people in the head.
What do you think you'll be able to do to change the perspective of the public and the media?
I think it's time to tell, and I think it's time to change things, and I've been through a lot. This year, we're doing a lot of things.
Detroit, it's an awesome spring afternoon in the Midwest, Kevin, and here the fans file into beautiful Conseco Fieldhouse for Game 1 of the Boston-Indiana series. Third time that these two teams have gone head-to-head. Playoff time means the Pacer fans are excited, and they were here early to get an autograph from Jermaine O'Neal, an MVP candidate in the mind of Isaiah Thomas. And some people say, wait a minute, that's a pretty bold statement, but if you watch Jermaine O'Neal play Tom Silver, maybe not on the level of what Duncan did in San Antonio this year or Weber in Sacramento, but he was as big an impact player as you could find in the Eastern Conference. And if they win this series, his impact is going to be more so. I mean, this guy is a guy that can do it on the defensive end, the offensive end, and with the lack of depth the Celtics have inside, on the offensive glass, advantage O'Neal. On the post, advantage O'Neal. I mean, this guy is a finisher, and let's not forget that he can also play defense. Ouch! That one kind of hurt. I mean, this is a guy that's going to have to step up, have a big series, and you can see right there with the Celtics this year, he's done just that. Yeah, Boston did not have an answer for O'Neal. Not many teams do, but O'Neal and Brad Miller inside. Size and paint story key for Boston defensively. But Boston's offense must be clicking to have any success. And for more on what the Celtics live and die by, here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Mike, they live and die by the three. As much as Jim O'Brien doesn't like to admit that, they do. And one indicator of that was a voluntary shoot-around this morning for players who wanted to come to Conseco and shoot. 9 a.m., 5 hours before tip, J.R. Bremer and Tony Delk, the point guards, were here. Also showing up, Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce, who take more threes than anyone else on the team. They also attend. Now, Antoine Walker told me one of the reasons they felt they needed to do this was to simulate as much of a normal day as they could, incorporating a shoot-around. He also mentioned their 5 of 24 three-point shooting performance last time they were at Conseco. He said, we want to try to get in the groove of our shot early. Spoke to Jim O'Brien a few minutes ago, and he said, my team is extremely extremely focused. I said, how do you know for sure when your team is that focused? And he paused, and he thought about it and said, I'm not going to tell you, but I know that they are. Mike?
It's the time for secrets and that different look in the eye. It's the NBA playoffs. The best teams in the league, the greatest athletes in the world, the most coveted championship in the sport. Game 1 of this Eastern opening series in a few minutes, Kevin.
Mike, thanks a lot. Should be a great game. Now, the question is, will it be 5-on-2? Pearson Walker against all 5 Indiana Pacers. Pearson Walker averaged 46 points a night during the regular season. Nobody else in double figures for the Celtics, so that'll be interesting. All right, let's look at what's next. The Celtics and Pacers coming up next right here on ESPN. That's followed by a fantastic game in the nightcap of our triple header. The Suns and Spurs. Remember, the Suns took 3 or 4 games from the Spurs. There's also the Blazers and Mavericks on TNT at 8, and then we finish with Team Ultra Tasty rolling into Arco Arena. The Magic take on the Pistons tomorrow. Sean Elliott and Brent Musburger on their way for that game right now. Lakers and Timberwolves kick off their series, and then there's the Hornets and 76ers. So great basketball this weekend on the ESPN family and ABC. And also, don't forget, at halftime, we'll be joined by Stephon Marbury. He is back in the playoffs for the first time since 1998. Sense of redemption for Stephon and the Suns' entire organization as they make it back to the promised land. But up next, the Celtics and Pacers. This should be a great series. Can 2 overcome 5? It's on the way.
First round playoffs today, and it gets no better than the NBA. If they made it this far, then you're well in the way, and we don't want to talk no more. Let's play. The Celtics live and die downtown. Pearson Walker, the league's #1 pound for pound. Ode to the new pace of b-ball killers. O'Neal to our best, King of Crust and Miller. You want to know who won, how, and when? The NBA playoffs on ESPN.
Playoffs start in basketball country. Welcome to the Hoosier Land. It's the Conseco Fieldhouse in downtown Indianapolis. The Pacers and the Celtics, game 1 in their best-of-7 Eastern Conference opening round series. Already, we've seen the New Jersey Nets answer the question, could they find the form that they had early in the season, really handling Milwaukee in a game that wasn't as close as the score indicated. Now the 3-6 matchup begins, Indiana and Boston. Tom Tolbert is an Indiana team that opened 33-14 this year, but then hit a rough patch in February and March. The question is, can they turn the switch and turn things back around?
Yeah, I mean, I think they can. I think they were overpriced early in the season. I mean, they were 21-1 at home at one point. They were over 500 on the road. They lost 11 in a row at one point on the road this season. I think it all equaled out to about where they are. I mean, this is a young team. I know a lot of people said, well, they underachieved this year because they got out to the bad start. This team was the 8th seed in the playoffs last year. This year, they're the 3rd seed in the playoffs. The young guys are going to have to do well. Jamal Tinsley is going to have to take care of the ball, not score a lot, but take care of the ball. You have to have guys like Al Harrington step up. Reggie Miller's have to play, not the way he used to play 5-10 years ago, but get somewhat back to form. And it'll be fun because you got different styles. Who can impose their will in the game? 3-point shooting against inside dominance.
The X factor, I think, in many ways, might be 31 and Reggie Miller, because Reggie Miller is a different person come the playoffs.
Yeah.
He talks about the players as his kids. He is the veteran who can lead this young group. And, oh, by the way, he still has lots of big shots left. Even though he's coming off a shoulder injury, you know, Reggie Miller is ready to run come playoff time. As for the Celtics, it's Walker, it's Pierce. If they're hot, then Boston's going to be in it. If they're not, it's going to be a short series.
Absolutely. I mean, you're talking about a team that their MO is harass you on defense, jump pick and rolls, get in the passing lane, and then jack threes. You know, get down there and fire threes. Paul Pierce and Antoine Walker, when they were at their best last year in the playoffs, they were driving, they were penetrating, they were trading for others, and then they'd fall back on the threes. This team gets into trouble when they pass it around the perimeter to stand around and shoot threes. That leads to not only a lower shooting percentage, long rebounds and fast breaks the other way, and they've been hurt this year by the Indiana fast break when they've lost.
Only Shaq and Kobe, a higher scoring duo. Can they have an answer on the defensive end for that guy, Jermaine O'Neal, who averaged a double-double? Celtics Pacers, game 1 of the best-of-7, live from Indiana.
Kid, 14 points, 14 assists. Kmart, despite a little tweak in his leg, 21 and a career high 15 rebounds, 109 to 96, your final score. So what's ahead? After the Celtics and Pacers, we still have to head down to San Antonio. It's the Suns and Spurs. Can Tim Duncan and crew slow down Stephon Marbury? Then you can flip over to TNT for the Blazers and Mavericks, and we'll finish up the evening of great NBA basketball with the Jazz and Kings. The key in this series, perhaps, for the Pacers, that young man right there, Jermaine O'Neal, 25 points, 11 rebounds during the regular season, but it's the second season. Playoffs.
Quick tops over to Michelle Tafoya, Mike Tirico. Welcome inside Conseco Fieldhouse. Let's check our Bud Light starting lineups for Game 1 in the best of 7. For Indiana, Jamal Tinsley and Reggie Miller in the backcourt. Up front, they go with Ron Artest, Jermaine O'Neal, and the 7-footer out of Purdue, Brad Miller. Tony Delkin, high-scoring Paul Pierce in the backcourt. For the Green, Eric Williams, Antoine Walker, and Tony Battie up front. How important Game 1 in the best of 7? Well, 4 out of 5 times you win Game 1, you move on. 26-year NBA veteran official Joey Crawford works with Ted Bernhardt and Sean Corbin. It's in the air. It belongs to the Pacers, and the playoffs are underway in basketball country.
I got to say just how cool it is to be here. Think about Fenway, Lambeau, certain places you have to visit. This might end up being one of those places in a few years. If you're a basketball fan, you got to be at Conseco.
Here. Brad Miller chases down the Tinsley pass. After Reggie Miller missed his opening shot, here is the second-year man out of Iowa State. Reggie missed his first. Didn't pull the trigger on the second, but Tinsley will. A 3. Boston team made it to the Eastern Conference Finals where they were knocked out by New Jersey. Paul Pierce, short on the 3, defended by Ron Artest. Our matchup will watch today.
Well, that's something they don't want. They don't want the one-pass jack to 3. They want dribble drive penetration, collapse the defense, kick it out, then shoot the 3.
Reggie is fouled by Paul Pierce, and here's Michelle Tafoya.
Not the first time Reggie Miller's been fouled this week. On Wednesday night's season finale, he took quite a hit, guys. He was driving the lane when New Jersey's Jason Collins fouled him hard. And Reggie was down on the ground for about 2 minutes. We'll show you the footage in a second. But Isaiah Thomas was actually concerned. Take a look at the replay from Wednesday night. Reggie Miller driving the lane. This is against New Jersey. Jason Collins flies in and knocks Reggie down. Reggie says he cannot remember the incident because the hit was so hard, but he does remember the pain in his hip and shoulder. I asked him if he's still feeling it. He wouldn't reveal it, just said the show will go on. Guys?
Playoff time. His old teammate Byron Scott's the coach of the Nets, and he said afterwards, Reggie's from L.A. He's got a little bit of Hollywood in him, but Reggie said that was a legit painful injury, and he was icing the shoulder before the shoot-around yesterday. You see, when they win, his numbers have been down, so don't necessarily think a big game from Reggie means success for these Pacers. Here's missed his second shot. Delk thought about it and took it and knocked down 3.
He thought about it, and then he said, hey, that's what we do. I better shoot this one.
That's what they do, you're right.
And back to Reggie, too. If you notice when you're watching that highlight, he's one of the best at jumping into people. I mean, he creates a lot of contact. That's why he gets to the free throw line a lot.
Much talked about Ron Artest being watched by Eric Williams. They clear out space for Artest. It's his first shot, and Delk goes and gets the board. Decent rebounding guard at 3.5 a game. Williams ran the floor nicely. To Battie. Tony Battie, 6'11", 6th year out of Texas Tech, puts the Celtics on top.
Well, I'm surprised Brad Miller or Jermaine O'Neal haven't been touching the ball down low yet. I mean, that's where they have their advantage.
There you go, on cue from Reggie, but good interior presence from Battie, and the Celtics come back the other way. Antoine to Eric. Williams missed the 3, Brad Miller all on the board. Average 8.5 per game. Reggie a 3. Pierce tipped it away from O'Neal. Delk has no numbers again. Antoine Walker for 2.
That's a tough matchup if Brad Miller's going to be on Antoine Walker. I know a lot of times you just get caught up in the break and you take who you have, but he's got so much shake and bake in this game. A guy like Brad Miller can't stay with him.
7 in a row for Boston. Celtics have taken a 3-point early lead. Miller has an outside shot and shows it off. undrafted out of Purdue. Yeah, I wonder. And they beat the Bushes in Africa and Europe and every third world country to find NBA players. This guy was at Purdue on TV every night. He played pretty well. Yeah. Played well at Purdue. And he went undrafted. He's in the second round. Artest started Petit. Pacers have numbers the other way. Reggie faked it, took it, down to the foul.
We talked about Reggie Miller and how he's able to draw fouls. On the dribble drives, watch right here. Jump, that was the foul. He loves to jump into people. And I'll tell you another thing he does, too. He's so gangly that when you foul him, he throws his arms out, his legs out, and it looks like he gets hit a lot harder than he does. And he is the master of being able to draw contact.
He makes himself a big target.
Yep, exactly.
Both feet, 3-7, Petit fumbled the catch momentarily, but recovered for the dunk.
Maybe you can help me out with this. Why does everybody feel like they need to touch the backboard after they dunk? I mean, if you can jump that high, of course you can touch the backboard.
In case you haven't noticed, I can't touch the backboard, so I can't really help you there. But I'll work on it the rest of the playoffs.
Oh, thank you. Appreciate it.
60 days till Game 7 of the finals. I'll figure it out. Jermaine O'Neal on the board. Williams trying to go at Reggie Miller.
He's going to get that one.
He just was waiting for it to come to him. Tinsley said, I'll take it. It was not a well spread out break. Artest, nice move.
Great patience there, too. Kind of a little stutter step dribble there in the middle. Let the defense and then whoop, right around the side.
Indiana had an early edge. Boston a run to take the lead. The Pacers returning the favor. Williams on Miller. Well, he's tripped to coming across the lane.
Well, just because you trip doesn't mean you were tripped. I mean, you can go across the middle and get some. And I'm not sure Brad Miller. Let's see what Brad Miller does right here. Because he's saying, hey, look, I'm just sliding across the lane. Slide, slide, slide. That's a bad call. Hey, what are you gonna do? You have a right to slide across the lane and protect your goal. I think that's what Brad Miller said right there.
High chart for Eric Williams. Trying to show the officials that they didn't see it right, but significant here, 2 fouls on Brad Miller. That's one of the toughest matchups the Celtics have, and because of this trip,
watch him slide. I mean, he just slides. I mean, give Eric Williams credit. Did a nice job of creating the contact and making him blow that whistle. But now a guy who I think comes Al Harrington, I think this guy's on the verge of something. And I was talking to Mark McGuire earlier, assistant coach of the Pacers, and he said he's one of those guys, the more minutes he gets, the better flow he gets into, and the better he plays. He can easily go to 18 and 10.
Jamal Tinsley knocks that one down to extend the Indiana lead to 4 for Isaiah Thomas. 3-6 his playoff record, but remember, they were knocked out by the Eastern champs the last 2 years. Red Artest, almost could not finish, but Artest is one of the best in steals, reached the hoop. Williams and O'Neal and James for the three-point play.
Well, that was one of those buckle jobs right there where you just have way too much time to think about it. Great job of Artest anticipating, and then right here, buckle. Oh. And then right back in the other end, Eric Williams once again doing a nice job drawing the contact, bump, and the bucket.
Williams, who hit a couple earlier, knocks down his 3rd free throw of the game. There's Isaiah. And Jim O'Brien on the other side, who replaced Rick Pitino and has really solidified a Boston franchise that, to be honest, does not have a ton of talent on its roster. Pierce takes it away. They've got Pierce and Walker, and they ride them as hard as they can. And it's one of the reasons that the Celtics were able to win 44 this year after a 49-win season in 2001-2002.
Well, they're floating this game so far. Both teams doing a lot offensively, getting it done. I like that.
Harrington will take it from the top. Misfired. Pierce comes away with the board. Actually, get both teams to 30 in the Eastern Conference.
Hey, look out.
There you go. I think it's real presence, actually. A 2
what's that? 2? You see? You know what, though? I mean, I give him credit because that's one of those things, too, where you don't look. You catch and you shoot. If you look, forget about it.
Some terrific shooting in the early going. Pacers 7 of 12.
Your statesman on this team, and he provides a lot of leadership and direction to one of the youngest teams in the NBA. But he told me earlier he regards himself as sort of their favorite uncle, and he told me he treats the relationship with delicacy.
And a lot of young players tend to tune a lot of the older players out because they don't want to hear it. And I see that with older players on other teams because they're always berating the younger players. And what I've tried to do here with my younger players is pick and choose when it's time to show them constructive criticism and pick and choose your time when it's really time to get on them.
It's really interesting, guys, that he's talked an awful lot about my players and how they play for me. He's almost like a coach on this team.
Well, you look at the ages, Michelle. Reggie is 37. The other starters average 25 years old. Al Harrington, who comes off the bench and is in the game because of Brad Miller's 2 fouls, is 23. This is a very young team. As a matter of fact, it is the youngest of the 16 teams in the NBA playoffs. 5 to shoot. And here is the veteran Miller.
You know, a lot of guys on this team were like, you were actually around when Run DMC was? Really? Oh, tell us a story. Tell us I wonder if Daryl Miller, his brother, gave him that old like a retro Angels hat he had on. His brother plays for the Angels in the 80s.
Nice fatigue. Eric Williams, and Boston leads by 3.
Pretty good sporting family right there. Reggie, Cheryl, maybe the best female basketball player of all time. Yep. Cheryl.
Nice find by Reggie to Jamal Tinsley.
What a fun game to watch so far. I mean, 9 transition points for the Celtics, 6 transition points for the Pacers. Got a nice pace to it, up and down.
That hoop stopped a 9-0 Boston run. So the starting 5 for Boston. They clear out a side for Delk. Over Tinsley. Fatigue crash in the glass. No signs of the right knee injury that has slowed him at times late in the season.
Sorry, I'm just going to say he's got a live body.
Yeah. Williams was fouled by Artest trying to drive to the basket. Brown picks up the whistle. We get a chance to remind you can log on to NBA.com, the special playoff section throughout the postseason. It has history, news, features, breakdowns of this and all the other series. That's only on NBA.com. Great resource as you watch the playoffs. We build through the Eastern Conference Finals and on through to the NBA Finals. Fatigue over O'Neal. Now Harrington comes away with it.
Yeah, he doesn't scare you, backing you up, but he's pretty good at shooting the 15-foot jump shot. And like we just saw, if he gets a running start at the bucket, he's very live.
So Crawford says out off O'Neal instead of Walker, and a couple of sloppy trips for Indiana. Isaiah Thomas's team got off to a hot shooting start. They've improved a little bit. Still, the turnovers above 62%. Celtics taking better care of the ball. Lead by 1. Inside of 5 minutes opening. Nice spin by Williams around Artest, who's one of the best defenders that you're going to find in the league.
You know what's funny is they're doing a better job, the Celtics, of trying to establish down low than the Pacers are right now.
9 points for Eric Williams. Right on his season average in the first 8 minutes of the first playoff game. O'Neal trying to establish on the box against Antoine, and he picked up a foul on Walker. That's Walker's first.
And you see Walker right there putting the buttocks into him. And he's got ample buttocks to put into him, too. Trying to force him to the outside. But that's the time, man. That Antoine Walker is trying to keep him from catching the ball because he realizes if O'Neal does catch the ball, then he's at a big disadvantage.
Mark Blount, J.R. Bremer, Walter McCarty all in off the Boston bench. Continuing his good start. Jamal with 2 threes, and he has 10 points. He, too, over his season average in the opening quarter.
Well, if they get 15 to 18 from him, look out.
He's already passed his playoff high. I know it's only from last season. He disappeared the last couple of games of that series. Here's well defended, turned it over. Look at Reggie. Get it and go. Let's go, Joey Crawford. Give it to me. Come on, Joey. All square 22. Tinsley the take. Reggie runs to the line. For Harrington, a whistle inside. 3 seconds. The extra pass is always good. The big guys keep looking away. Where's the shot? It's up. Look for the rim. Come on.
Oh, that happens a lot, especially with guys that shoot. Guys that like to jack the ball. And it's so funny because they'll pass you and then get mad. It's like, well, you shoot it 25 times a game. I just thought you were shooting another one.
Walker on Harrington. Took him in, fading away. Rebound by O'Neal. This is where the Pacers can do some damage in transition. Trying to go right at the rookie J.R. Bremer. McCarty draws Reggie. Nice, O'Neal had. No, wasn't.
A great beatback by Paul Pierce, getting back in front of the pass. That's anticipation right there, knowing when he gets it.
Tinsley knocks it away from behind. He thought it was clean, but Ted Barnhart said no.
I think it was clean too, but it had a loud sound to it. And when things have loud sounds to it, you have a tendency to think, well, he must have got some. You're going to see him reaching right there. No, that's all ball. But it just sounded, if you were sitting here listening to it, it actually sounded like it was worse than it was, which it was.
Teddy Barnhart, 15-year veteran official. We should point out the officials as well have pared down the best ones advancing to the playoffs, and the best ones will continue to advance on as we move through the round. Austin Crozier comes in for Indiana. We look at Joey Crawford, now Sean Corbin. Crozier in as Reggie Miller takes his seat. 60-year man out of Providence who set the world afire in the NBA Finals when they played the Lakers. Remember, Crozier had a 24-point game in Game 2 of the Finals.
Well, they were going to him all the time in the finals. And all the, he just hasn't gotten the play time the last few years with the emergence of some of the younger guys.
Crozier, Artest, O'Neal, Tinsley, and Harrington right now for the Pacers. Good anticipation. Mark Blount took it away, but gave it away. Timeout inside of 3 minutes. Celtics off to a very solid shooting. We're slightly down, but about the same this year to last. You have to remember, Kenny Anderson is no longer here. Eric Strickland, who's now an Indiana Pacer, who we'll see later on. No Rodney Rogers in New Jersey. Vitaly Potapenko, who was a defensive presence, was also here. So the cast has changed without Pearson Walker. Those guys down a little bit for the season, but the rest of the crew, as you see, has come out very, very strong with 18 of the Boston 24.
And they've been doing a lot off Indiana turnovers. In transition, Indiana right now shooting 64%, but they only have 14 shots, 6 turnovers. That's what the Celtics feed off of, you turning the ball over.
Al Harrington directing traffic, telling Crozier, get out of my way. Tried to take McCarty. Rebound, O'Neal. 7th year in the league. He's just 24 years old. Came right out of high school. Remember those 4 seasons in Portland. 3 terrific seasons now here in Indiana. Grant Long, 15th-year veteran out of Eastern Michigan. 43 for Boston. Off a double screen Pierce. That's 2 shots, and neither one from the outside has been close.
And that was all net. Just didn't go through the rim.
Walker going to come right back in at the 2-minute mark.
Well, that's what they like to do. Every time you set a pick and roll, they like to jump it. Well, it's fun watching them from the backside, just seeing them coach out. That was dead money right there.
I tell you, if they start doing that, Crozier gets hot. You can't leave somebody open. There are good enough shooters on this Indiana team.
Absolutely.
Austin Crozier puts the Pacers back on top. J.R. Bremer, St. Bonaventure, the lefty, is not afraid to take him. Missed there, and the rebound cleared by Crozier. A couple times Bremer shut Tinsley off the top. Good drop down. Better throw down by O'Neal. And Boston will take a 20. The Pacer run.
Well, that's going to be certainly one of his easiest buckets of the playoffs. Just say. And I forgot about me. And Walter McCarty did the best thing. He put you right here. That's just the old flyby. Yeah. Let me just get out of the way. You see O'Neal right here. Post it up. Kind of lost track.
Jermaine O'Neal this year averaged 21 points a game, was 4th in rebounds at 10.3. He came on so well last season and followed it up again this season. Twice an All-Star. This year selected as a starter. And to watch Jermaine O'Neal's season numbers against Boston, you could put those up against any team and they'd be pretty similar.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, he's really nice drive. We'll get a finish. But he's just I think he's just matured. He's a guy that's matured.
Pierce is 1 of 6 thus far. 20 seconds to shoot. Game 1, Eastern Conference quarterfinals. Pacers and Celtics. Third time these two franchises have met in the playoffs. Boston eliminated Indiana in 91 and swept them in an opening round series in 92. Jamal Tinsley and Eric Williams near their season averages in the opening quarter. Jermaine O'Neal fading too much, and the rebound to Mark Blount.
I don't want to pick up a cheap one out there.
Pierce trying to post Harrington. Harrington's long as well. Good spin to the baseline, and Pierce will get a free throw.
Well, if you try to get up on somebody like Paul Pierce with your body, he's going to feel your body right here. Spin off, and you got to be prepared for that. Great move by Paul Pierce. You just have to give him a little more room so you can slide one way or the other. Hey, you see Paul Pierce right here, body, and he knows he wants it on the block. And he wants to feel the body. And he just gets Harrington leaning a little too much when he catches it. You just can't. You've got to back off just a little bit. So when he spins, you can adjust.
Only Tracy McGrady, Kobe Bryant, Allen Iverson, and Shaquille O'Neal scored more points per game than Boston's 50-year man out of Kansas. This time they recover on Crozier, and it's Artest outside. Lost control of the ball and his body. Fighting inside O'Neal. And he'll get to the line.
Well, now they're starting to get it done inside. We talked about this where they're going to have their advantage. They lost track of O'Neal a couple plays ago. O'Neal with an offensive rebound and then getting his own miss just now. But, you know, back to Paul Pierce, it's hard to imagine it. 10th? I mean, 10th. Yeah, 10th in the draft.
Oh, right.
And he slid down all the way, and you look and you're like, boy, how did he get to number 10? And even while it was going on, and you know how those things happen. It's like when somebody hears something else, somebody hears like, oh, I don't want to pull the trigger without actually knowing exactly what's going on, so I'll pass on him. But boy, this guy's a spectacular player.
He came off an All-American season, first-team All-America at Kansas in '98. Spent 3 years at KU. Big slide in that 1998 draft. O'Neal, who went 17th in the '96 draft, right out of high school. As a matter of fact, this Pacer team has very few lottery picks. Reggie Miller was the 11th pick at '87. Okay? Other than that, Ron Mercer, who they traded for, and Jonathan Bender, their high school player, who they picked back in the draft in '99, the only couple of lottery picks of this team. Bremer, 5 to shoot. As the quarter winds down, missed it. Crozier got it. Looked up at the clock. They know they've got a chance to squeeze one off. Simply a hot quarter. Couldn't finish. And that's it for the first. Well, two players who are the other guys in their team stepped up in the opening quarter. Eric Williams equaling his season average. Jamal Tinsley 2 over his season average in the opening quarter. Celtics, Jim O'Brien's team. We mentioned 44 and 38, the 6th seed. They shoot a bunch of threes. But you know, it's funny. Jim O'Brien took the Boston Celtics, one of the great franchises in all of sports, to the Eastern Conference Finals last year. He coaches in Boston, one of the bigger markets, and still is moderately anonymous. I mean, he's not even the best-known Jim O'Brien, who's a basketball coach. The Ohio State coach, Jim O'Brien, was around for so long. Interior pass there by Williams, and the foul is called on O'Neal. But Jim O'Brien was a Rick Pitino assistant, associate coach at Kentucky, and then here at the Boston Celtics, and took over when Pitino left. And since he took over back in January of 2001, a very solid record, 24 games over 500, and really has done a great job with a team that does not have many parts that people are calling and saying, hey, can you trade this guy to us? Walker is one of the best parts. It makes it a one-point game.
Well, I think when it comes right down to it, when you're in Boston, you're spoiled, and you think Bird, you think McHale, you think Parrish should go way back, you think Cousy and Russell. Man, it's championships or bust in Boston. It's not, hey, we got to the Eastern Conference Finals, that's great. If you're a Celtics fan, you want a championship.
4 to shoot. Crozier at the line. Knew he had to take it. And a shot clock violation. They wanted to go for the head fake to lose Antoine, but could not.
And this kind of a semi, get in there, get down low. Like I say, get the booty into him.
What is this?
post them up.
The 5th time you've mentioned that, Tom.
You got to have big booties to post up.
It's not a Friday night game like we normally do. It's Saturday afternoon. Kids are watching. Pierce missed.
Wow, he has a big booty today, just like he'd have one on Friday night. He's got to understand leverage.
Swan missed the deep three. The rebound by Tinsley. Crozier left free.
He's a guy that can certainly, if he's wide open, he's not going to beat you off the dribble. He's not going to create a whole lot for himself. But if he gets it off the draw and dish, he's more than capable of hitting spot-up jumpers all the way out to the stripe.
Williams on Crozier. The foul is called by Joey Crawford. You know, Crozier kind of fell into, I don't want to say the doghouse, but was out of the rotation for a while. Had 15 games where Isaiah Thomas didn't put him in. The dreaded DNP coach's decision. Tough when you have a contract with 4 years and $31 million left on it. Nice save by Williams. 5 to shoot for Delk. Kick out to Antoine. Missed 3. Delk got the rebound. Boston going cold here. Tinsley on the push. The Celtics 1 of 7 from behind the three-point line. That's never a good sign for them.
Tinsley's just on fire getting up the court. Nobody's running with him, though.
Nice entry attempt by Crozier. Isaiah Thomas wants the Pacers in every half-court set just tested inside a little bit. Whether it's O'Neal or Miller, inside out the offense. And that's why he feels this team could be most successful offensively.
Well, when you throw it into O'Neal, you get a guy that is, a lot of cases, you have to double team, although it's Petit guarding him. Boy.
Crozier missed off the window. And Petit got the bullet.
I was amazed how guys get so wide open.
He got kicked in the head by Artest. Artest took a leg out to try to deter the pass. Not malintention. 3-on-2 on the turnover. Tinsley runs it. Feeds Artest. Hard foul by Petit. Artest gets up and is separated right away. Meantime, players from both sides trying to keep things calm. Ejection. A flagrant 2 has been called, and Tony Petit has been thrown out. So what Ron Artest is involved in so often, he's on the receiving end. And this time the Pacers see a player ejected for a hard foul against Artest.
You know, you could see that one coming, Mike, from a mile away.
From the kick.
Yep, exactly. He was upset. There was nothing called on the kick, and then as soon as they got the steal, and he just dished it to Artest, you could see that foul coming, and a big blow to their interior defense, losing Tony Petit.
Huge. Huge. Artest to the line. Gets that first one. Key turning point in this game here at the 9:36 mark of the second.
You're going to see the kick in the head right here, just boink. And I don't think he tried to kick him in the head there. He just had his foot up. I mean, you know, hey, the foot's up. How much? Let's watch this. Let's watch it live.
Just wait to see if he was trying to kick or not.
Yeah. No, not at all. And Petit was upset, and then, like I said, you could see it coming. Because as soon as their steal was, and they gave it, you're going to watch right here. He is mad, put the forearm across his chest, and threw him down, and in no way was he going for the ball.
So Petit has been ejected. Artest hit one of the free throws and stayed mostly calm through that. O'Neal tries to go to the basket, and the foul is called on Eric Williams. It was a flagrant 2, thus the automatic ejection. Flagrant fouls and points for flagrant fouls have become a well-known topic here in Indiana. The Pacers had 3 of the top 10 guys in flagrant foul points in the league. But all of that is washed away. It's a brand new season. So your flagrant foul points restart. The clock is, the odometer's reset come the playoffs. So the ejection for the flagrant 2, and they look at our test as Petit is back in the locker room.
And it takes away interior defense, takes away offensive rebounding, takes away a guy that can hit a 15-foot jump shot. I mean, you're not losing that much offensively, but they're not a good offensive rebounding team anyway. And to lose one of your better guys, one of your livelier guys on the offensive board, that's a big loss.
Large largest lead of the afternoon. It's 7 for the Pacers. And one other point on this Artest issue. That was a flashpoint in the playoffs, high intensity, and Ron Artest did not fight back. That's a positive sign for the Pacers. The tip by Mark Blount, who will be now asked to do a lot more. The 7-footer in his third year in the NBA out of Pittsburgh. Guy who played in the CBA and the IBL. So his opportunity availed itself. Mercer, the ex-Celtic in the game. Nice flash by Crozier to Harrington.
Well, after they trap the pick and roll, it looks like they're going back into a 2-3 zone. And Crozier just did a nice job finding the crease in the zone and then had a nice pass to Harrington.
J.R. Bremer staying in the game. Walker, McCarty, Williams, and Bryant. Antoine, the best scoring option right now for Boston, taking the shot. Mercer was turned away by McCarty. Crozier outside, stepped into it, and got to the cup. Couldn't finish, screaming for the foul on Blount. We'll just go back the other way. Eric Williams. Williams watched by Crozier here. Walker starts his offense from 28 feet away. Got Harrington in the air, and a free throw for 2 will be coming for Twan. Third foul on Al Harrington, 2 on Brad Miller, but the big foul call happened just a couple of minutes ago. Ron Artest just had his leg extended, trying to be a defensive barrier. Tony Batiste got kicked in the face, was unhappy about it, and as the ball was turned over, he made Artest pay. But his team is the one that pays. Tony Batiste, flagrant 2, ejected from the game. Boston without its starting center against the big, burly Indiana. Jim Durham, Doris Burke will bring you that game from San Antonio after we're done. Triple header on opening day 2003 for the NBA playoffs. And things not going well here in Indianapolis. Good offense on both sides. And then a little flashpoint, the first one of the postseason, as Tony Batiste was ejected for a flagrant 2, a hard foul on Ron Artest. Antoine Walker was fouled before the timeout. He's got one more coming, and here's Michelle Tafoya.
Well, Artest holding on to his left wrist a little bit. It's sore, but he will come back in. Interesting what happens when a player's ejected. He's walked back by security, taken into the locker room, and then the security guard outside of the locker room is told, guys, don't let that player back on the floor. Interesting.
We lived through that with the Lakers and Kings in the preseason. Keep them in there with a putback. Makes it a 3-point game, so Boston ends up getting 3 out of that trip. Mercer off the screen. The former Celtic misfired, and it is still Pacer ball.
What are they going to do away with the, didn't the Bulls start that black shoes for the playoffs, like in the early 90s?
Well, the Pacers have done this. This is a Pacer tradition adopted as well. Black shoes, black socks for the postseason. You got a problem with it? It's fine.
No, I'm just saying going back to the white.
Reggie Miller back in. Join Mercer, Tinsley,
nice.
Miller, to O'Neal. Blount for the foul.
Sweet look. I mean, that's high-low right there. When you have your post player fronted and you swing it to the high post, that is automatic. And you can see the front right there, whoop, up. That's nice basketball is what they're doing.
High, low, high.
Yep. Sounds like a poker game.
I think it is, actually.
Yeah, I think you're right.
Jermaine is 73% free throw shooter. Last week, with Allen Iverson, O'Neal was added to Team USA for the Tournament of the Americas, which comes up in Puerto Rico, and then next year, the 2004 Olympics in Athens, provided the U.S. qualifies in Puerto Rico in August. Jermaine was part of that USA basketball squad in the World Championships here in Indianapolis that finished 6th, thus they have to play this year in the qualifying tournament.
Did you just say provided they qualified? Provided they qualified.
Well, you would have assumed they would have won one of the spots.
You would be a part of this game qualified. They're going to qualify. They had all play left-handed to make it interesting.
Rebound by Miller. Tinsley the push, makes eye contact with Mercer. Brown was well defended. Pierce is 1 of 8 shooting here in the first 17 minutes. Mark Blount comes up with his second defensive takeaway of the quarter.
Well, they've had some bad passes. Not just great defensive play, but bad passes.
Offensive foul on Walter McCarty of the Celtics. 2 on Walter, 3 on the team. Let's see, Pierce's numbers, just 6 thus far. A cold shooting, 1 of 8, and 0 of 2 from behind the line here at Conseco. Mercer came down before he got rid of it. So the double by McCarty and Mark Blount forces the 9th turnover for Isaiah's team.
I'll tell you, Pierce is one of those guys, too. He'll get you 6, 7, 8 in the first half. He'll come out and blast you about 25 in the second half. When he gets it going, threes, drives, posts, he's got the whole arsenal.
Time Mercer got lost defensively. Pierce still missed the shot, and Reggie Miller gets the rebound.
He's getting good position, just a little bit off.
Miller to O'Neal. The beauty of Miller and O'Neal is you're 4 and 5. Both have good hands. Do a good job with the interior passing. It allows them to 6, 8-foot shots.
And you can tell by virtue of the last couple times on the board, they both look to each other.
I like what Jim O'Brien's doing here. It's just force-feeding Paul
Yeah.
Pierce. We're going to get you going. We'll get you some stuff inside and make you feel good. Second field goal there makes it a 4-point game.
And that always works, too. When you're not going well, get an offensive rebound, get a post up, get a couple free throws, and that could ignite you. Blount working hard down low. So I'm telling you, if you front, though, you got to beware the lob.
Pierce came to help. Reggie a 3. Can't get it going yet.
He didn't finish the season all that strong from 3. I think he was like 2 for his last 11 and just been struggling with beyond the arc.
Walter. Antoine, a lot of shaking and baking. Nothing going on. Tinsley tries to shake and bake and draws the foul on Jelk. And the Wii have a timeout with the Pacers up 4.
Oh, one of the key players, Paul Pierce, and how do you get it going? You keep shooting the ball. That's how you get it going. And he's not that far off. You look at the post-up right here, just...
Brought to you by Sprite, Obey Your Thirst, and Nissan and your Nissan dealer.
Conseco Fieldhouse here in the Warehouse District downtown. Indianapolis, Indiana. Game 1 of the best of 7. Opening round series in these. Reggie Miller and the Pacers lead by 4. Reggie only has 4 points, but he has 4 assists. I want to check the Miller Lite storyline. What's happened here in our first 18 and a half minutes in Indianapolis. Pearson Walker, 14. The rest of the team with more. Tony Petit ejected for a flagrant 2 foul on Ron Artest. Pacers have stayed over 50%. Tinsley had a 10-point opening quarter, and their leading scorer, Jermaine O'Neal, has 12. He averages 21 per game.
And the Celtics have done a great job on the boards. I mean, leading by 3. They had a +3, 19-16, 7 offensive rebounds. And this were a team that during the course of the regular season was a -9 against Indiana on the board. So if they can stay right around that, I mean, I'm not even saying they have to win the battle of the boards, but they can be -2, -1, -3 right in there. That gives them a great shot.
Off the miss, Brad Miller couldn't squeeze it. McCarty touched it last, and it will be Indiana ball. Just joining us, you saw the score go by. New Jersey got the win in Game 1 of our playoff opening tripleheader, 109-96, to take a 1-0 lead in that best of 7. Game 2 there will be Tuesday night in Jersey. Brad Miller.
He's solid. Not spectacular, just solid. He can pass the ball well. They can get you 9 or 10 rebounds a night. If you put a smaller guy on him or a guy of equal size, you can force them down a low block. They're going to give you a good, honest effort.
Walker gets inside. Missed it, but got it back on the putback. You like Antoine down there.
I love him down there. I think he's got a lot of funk in his game down there. A lot of bake, a lot of shake, pump face, and get to the line. Out.
Going the other way.
Oh, that one's coming.
And that's 3 on Brad Miller.
I like the old Moses Malone last time, though. Throw it up there and get your own rebound. Just get a bucket and an offensive rebound. Doesn't have to shoot his percentage all that much.
Brad and happy with the call, but that one was pretty easy for Sean.
Yeah, I think Brad Miller is upset because he didn't have time to turn around and figure out. Watch the catch right here, the spin. And it's tight, but you have, I think you have time to stop right. Call though. That's a tough one to take. I think it's the right call, but if I'm Brad Miller, I'm probably thinking the same thing.
So Miller and Harrington have 3 personal fouls. Some of the size of the Pacers in foul trouble. They have the luxury of guys off the bench like Crozier to use some more size. So he dealt off Tinsley and hits a 2. This runner for the 7th-year man out of Kentucky, who was the most outstanding player of the 96 National Championship Wildcat season. Lazy pass by Crozier, taken by Pierce, who is fouled at midcourt by Tinsley. The Pacers won 48 games this year. 32 of those 48 wins came here at Conseco Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. The Celtics were a decent road team at 19 and 22. Hey, if you lay out a goal for 500 on the road, that's a good season. And unless you're one of the dominant teams in the league, and Boston did just that. Hang it tight here, down 3 as we approach the 4-minute mark. Game 1 of the best of 7. Walker to go after O'Neal. Quick spin, nice move by Antoine Walker. 2 examples back-to-back of what you keep saying.
This guy can do it down there. I'm telling you, the ball fake, the pump fake, he got the best shoulder fakes in the game. I mean, he's up, he's down, kind of like a big Nick Van Exel.
O'Neal knew that Williams was coming to slide over defensively. And the ability to take that nice little 10-footer gives him 14 points of the Pacer 45.
Before anybody thinks I'm nuts, I mean, the shake and bake like Nick Van Exel, kind of, stop. I know the people understand. I'll make sure all the kids out there understand, along with the booty.
Artest on the push, back in the game, hoisting a 3. You can kind of get the sense Ron Artest really wanted to take a shot. He's been thinking about it for 8-9 minutes. I'm going to show back and stay under control. Took the hard foul, didn't react, came back, hit a 3, and the Celtics call for time. 3:16 to go. Indiana leads Boston.
1 between the Nets and the Bucks. Wow, we found the New Jersey team that was so good in the first half of the season. We'll also talk to Stephon Marbury as he gets ready for his first playoff game against the Spurs, a team that he has dominated all season long. So right now, let's head back to Mike and Tom in the Heartland.
Okay, Kevin, thank you. This young Hoosier fan. Oh, you're all Hoosiers. They're all fans of basketball in this area here. The Pacers leading by 6. Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce have tried to get the Celtics back in this game. Antoine took over the last couple of minutes.
Oh, hate this guy. I mean, you watch right here against Jermaine O'Neal. Woo! Little pump fake. Get it done with a little jump hook. And this next shot, this is like just straight YMCA, just hanging out with the boys. I'm firing. Get out of my way. Just rise up, not think about it, and give me a triple.
Headlines in the first half. Petit out of the game because of the flagrant 2. And Paul Pierce, 2 of 10 in the opening half. Still, Boston is in it. Their 6th turnover, though, could lead to a Pacer who Artest on the tape is fouled.
Well, you saw the 1 for 7 the Celtics are from the three-point arc. They counteracted that with 11 turnovers by the Indiana Pacers. And those, like I said, those are your 2 MOs for the Celtics. Shoot threes, try to make threes, but I'll tell you what, though. They've done a real nice job of getting the ball down low and trying to dribble drives. With 7 threes right now, they're way off their normal pace. And this guy right here, just defensively, just the anticipation, and I mean, look at that. He can, normal guys would follow their guy in the curl. He anticipated that and jumped out the passing lane.
Well, he was 2nd in the NBA in steals per game this year, 2.3. Allen Iverson, the only one with 4. Now Artest trying to lock up Pierce. Antoine gave him some space, and a foul was called on the Pacers. Two on Jermaine O'Neal to go with the 3 on Brad Miller and Al Harrington. So the Pacer big men have gotten in foul trouble.
Well, I was just watching Ron Artest walk by here. Guy that big shouldn't be on guards, off guards, and point guards.
Guys that big should be tight ends in the NFL.
Oh, it's
6'7", 250, and
amazing. Right? Amazing how many different positions that guy can guard.
So Pierce, who shot more free throws than anybody in the league this year, has hit all 6 of his attempts thus far in this 6-point game. Artest doubled in the corner, but that's the difference. He can defend, he can dribble, hit that 3 you saw before. Tinsley left 3. And dealt the rebound. Important couple of minutes here for Boston. Try to keep it within 3 or 4. Nice take by Pierce. Too long, O'Neal on the defense.
Well, he just can't. There's been 3 or 4 shots that normally go for him. Just can't get him down.
Reggie for 2. That's Reggie's luxury suite here at Conseco Fieldhouse, right in the corner. All fired up. See Reggie hit that outside shot. Delp tries to respond. I'll repeat what I said a moment ago. You got to watch out here if you're Boston.
Yeah.
Tinsley to O'Neal. Tough shot. Crozier kept it alive and got fouled. A good hustle by Austin Crozier. Causes the foul. Coming up next, the tripleheader continues on ESPN. More first-round action. Tim Duncan, probably the MVP in the league. He and the Spurs hosting the Phoenix Suns. Remember, the Suns beat the Spurs in that 70 in the regular season 3-1. They start their 7-game series next as the playoffs start today on ESPN. Continue on ESPN2 and ABC throughout the next 60 days, leading to an NBA champion is crowned on ABC in June. Blunt got the foul. That's Mark's 3rd. So Blount has 3. The T ejected. Jim Hardaway comes into the game as Crozier goes to the line. There's our former colleague, Mr. Hardaway, number 14 in the Pacer blue and gold. Timmy was out here working on his shot. Timmy, it's still December. From a basketball standpoint. The back spasm slowed him down earlier. The 5-time All-Star is here to be veteran insurance at the point for this Pacer team. Largest lead of the opening half. It's 10. Foster out defensively on Pierce. Bounced off the head of Mark Bryant. And the Pacers have it with a buck and a half to go.
We could very easily play a good half as the Celtics have done and be down 14, 12-14.
Hardaway called out the set play. To Artest. Took it to Pierce. 12-point lead.
This half can't come quick enough for the Boston Celtics.
Looks like you want to take the shot clock down to 3 or 2 so you don't let them score.
Exactly.
Walker, nice give and go, and Eric Williams starting and finishing. Delp guards Hardaway. Artest lost Williams, and now Jeff Foster.
It's been our test the last couple times down the court. On the right block, he was spinning, getting to the middle, finishing with the left hand, and then decided to double team him, and Foster did a nice job making himself available.
Just one time here for Boston, if they so choose. Walker tried to lose. Foster dribbled it off Jeff's foot. 12 to shoot. 34 left in the half.
The last couple of times it's been our test right there, just not feeling anybody. Then finally they come over to him, and the previous time was spin to the middle, and that was the same time. Another time. Jeff Foster's foot. No, he only scored one. That's the same time.
3 for Pierce. Cold shooting half. Team in some trouble. Hits that one to make it a 9-point game.
That's a big one. They get a nice stop here. At least you're, I mean, I hate when they say get it under double digits because there's really not that much difference between 9 and 10. But psychologically, you feel a little bit better about yourself.
Williams came out on Hardaway. Leaves Artest on Walker. Offensive foul called on Artest. That left arm was out there like an arm bar.
That's a strong arm bar right there.
2 on Ron.
Take out Mark Bryant, get some three-point shooters in there. You get a 3 to close the, you get a 3 to close the half. It's a 6-point break. Not so bad.
Eric Strickland, former Celtic, comes to the game for defensive help. Artest will watch Pierce as he tries to beat the clock with a 3. in, Walker out high. Pierce takes it in. Shot in time. It's a three for Williams. Oh, a great finish for Boston. They hit the last 2 threes. Automatically, they'll check it on replay. Any ball that goes in the hoop when it's 0-0-0 on the clock is an automatic replay review. But 2 big threes by Boston in the last 21 seconds make a 12-point game 6.
Party. They're worried about conversion on Indiana's fast breaks, giving up too much there. And what else is hurting them is that Paul Pierce is just missing a lot of layups. Otherwise, they're thrilled that they're getting what they want inside from that guy, Eric Williams. Back to you.
And Williams had a big first half, 14 points. That is over his regular season average of 9 per game, but he turned it over to start this third quarter. Without Petit, Mark Blunt is in there for Boston. Otherwise, the other 9 who started the game are on the floor. It's blocked by Williams. Ricky to the open, Jermaine O'Neal. Brad Miller, 3 fouls in the first half, kept it alive. Artest got cute with the pass. Lucky it didn't go out of bounds.
Well, Mel's got a little one on him right now. Here's pass.
Came across and then committed the foul. Good attempt by Paul to defend Miller and then recover on Jermaine O'Neal.
Well, that's what we expected them to do early in the game, in the first quarter. Just beat you up down low. Try to get down there. If they double team you, throw it over to your partner on the weak side.
O'Neal, who averages almost 21 a game, had 14 in the first half. Each quarter the same scores, 29-26 after 1. Indiana scored 29 in the second quarter, 26 for Boston.
Wow. How many times that happened?
I have no idea. Nor do I care, to be very honest.
You know what? Sad. There's probably somebody out there that can find it for you in like 10 minutes. That's really, really sad. Hey, the one thing that concerns you about the Celtics is down 6, played a pretty good first half, but can they get 8 more offensive rebounds? I mean, they're going to win this game, I think they're going to have 5, 6, 7, 8 more shot attempts than Indiana. The way you get extra shot attempts, turn your team over, and get offensive rebounds. And they did a great job of both of those in the first half, and we're still down 6.
O'Neal 6 of 8 from the line, a drastically improved free throw shooter over the last 3 years. Pacers by 8. Antoine Walker tried to get O'Neal to commit. It's out of bounds off Jermaine, who made a nice defensive play by staying on his feet. 6 to shoot for Boston.
Well, Jermaine just stayed there. He realized that Antoine had Reggie Miller on him. Reggie Miller kind of passed him off to him right there. Hey, you're bigger. You go ahead and take him.
Let Miller get in the air, knows the clock's running down, so fires. Need a rebound. 11 people almost on the court. Get to your seats in time. The second half has begun. On Mark Blunt, here is Jermaine O'Neal. Back it in. He missed it, but it's such a nice thing. Completely in control of his body as he goes up for the shot also.
And Blunt's going to have to do a nice... He's going to have to work hard and stay out of foul trouble.
Eric Williams continues his good showing. 16 for Eric. Approaching a playoff high. 18 is his playoff high. He scored 21 in a game this year. Reggie up top for 2.
Beat yourself up.
My boy hit a shot. I'm going to beat myself up. Walker grabbing at his knee as he went down. Pierce let Artest fly by. Short on the shot. Now 3 of 15 shooting. Slow to get back to 100% here.
I'll go right at it.
Ron O'Neal. Artest goes right at Pierce. Underneath, Scoopy deal. And it's back up to 10.
You wonder how in the world that thing goes in. No hinging of the wrist, just everything's straight. I'll tell you why it goes in. He's so dang big. He bodies him, pumps you off, and he gets room on this thing, which is incredible. But he's done this 3 times. Watch this. Go to your left, bump you off, and then just kind of smooth it in there is what you're doing. I mean, just watch. Bump with the right shoulder, And then just, okay, forget it. He's going to make about 25% of those, I think. That was a tough shot.
One more for Pierce. We saw Antoine Walker back there just trying to walk around a little bit. Jim O'Brien keeping a close eye on his guy who did miss 4 games back in late January with a sprained right knee.
Yeah, he seems to be hurt a little bit, too.
Pierce made them both. Back to 8. 3 minutes in, third quarter. Game 1 of the best of 7. Game 2 will be here at Conseco. Games 3 and 4 go to Boston on Thursday and Sunday. We'll have the Sunday game on ESPN2 for you at high noon from the Fleet Center. Walker deflects it out of bounds as he was guarding Miller. Fans wanted to hold on Walker, and they're letting the officials know. Now Miller and Walker fighting again, and that time the call comes.
I love it when everybody holds their hands up. What do you mean? I didn't do it. I'm holding my hands up. Must mean I didn't do anything. Put your hands back. Right there. And this is where he's going to get it. Right there. Boink. And then everybody's got to up. I guess that means I didn't do anything when you hold your hands up.
2 fouls on Walker. 2 on the Celtics for the quarter. O'Neal over Blunt. Mark goes up together. Years in Pittsburgh for Mark Blunt before he was drafted in the 2nd round by Seattle in '97. Took him a few years to find a home in the league. Right. Walker, nice spin, but couldn't convert on Brad Miller's goal. Tinsley on the push. Reggie at the line. Make the 3 and got the 2. Miller crashed the glass to keep it alive. Reggie retees. The 3.
I can make use of my mulligans like that one.
It's like Reggie's shot at an extra half point. No matter what he does, if he hits 4 a night, it just gets the crowd more energized here at Conseco. 6 to shoot. Miller on defense. Walker gives a hit right, the body left. The shot long. Pacer ball.
And Reggie Miller is pure stroke. He's probably going to find the pump fake. The miss. That's okay. Big fella's going to get it. Tee me back up. Woo.
Double. Miller left 3. Reggie really left 3. Wants 2. 2 is what was on the line. Walker with the rebound. Walker and Pierce are 8 of 29 shooting. They've had a cold quarter, as has the rest of the team. Williams has the only field goal of this half, and now making 2. Eric Williams, 8th-year man out of Providence, 7 of 10 shooting in this game. Reggie off the curl, behind the back to O'Neal. It's fouled by Mark. We talked about Eric Williams this season, averaging 9 points a game. His playoff high is 18. He's equal that. He did it against the Pistons last year. The Celtics and Pistons hooked up in the 2nd round Eastern Conference game. Well, pick up
the cars you can depend on, the cars that last. We'll be there. And Valvolane's Max Life. Log on to ESPNradio.com and enter the Maximum Performer Challenge sweepstakes for your chance to win a trip to the Dale Jarrett Racing Adventure.
Pacers led by 3 after 1, by 6 at the break. They're up 9 in the 3rd, and here's Michelle.
Well, Mike, yesterday Isaiah Thomas told us that he has always had respect for Reggie Miller, but he said ever since I became his coach 3 seasons ago, I have the utmost of respect for Reggie Miller because he is so tough. And he describes his toughness as unique because of Reggie's lack of physical size. He doesn't have a lot of muscle, but he said Reggie's like the kid that comes to school every day with food in his bag, and we all steal his food, and he keeps coming back. He's just that tough. Isaiah Thomas loves coaching him, and I think that Reggie Miller thrives on being that size and being so tough, guys.
Michelle, his focus here is on cue, off the feed for Miller, knocking it down. His focus as we get to playoff time, it's just a different notch. He knows how to kick it in. We were talking to him yesterday, and I asked Reggie, when you woke up Thursday, and now it was playoff time, did it feel phone numbers change. People who try to get a hold of you can't get a hold of you. Everybody's got to understand. What about that three from McCarty falling down? Walker hit a big one. It's one of the reasons Reggie Miller has been so great in the playoffs. He has such a focus. He has such a desire now, especially after getting to the finals in 2000 and getting so close, wants to get one more taste of it before it's all done. He's now 37. This is his 16th year. Everybody around him is young, but he knows he doesn't have to score 30 a game for this Pacer team to win playoff games.
Well, I think when you get to this point of your career and you've achieved everything, this is the one thing that you want. When you've been there, you've had a chance to taste it, and you're hoping that you see an Isaiah Thomas right there, a guy that's been there and had that chance to win some championships. Can he get you there? Can the young guys get you there? You know, maybe 2-3 more years left for him. I know he would love to get back and get another shot at it.
Michelle?
Yeah, he just also talks about taking care of his body. The off-season is the time he does it. He says the off-season is where I get my toughness. I work so hard. Players that came in with me, some of them have already retired. I'm still here.
That's right.
You're sitting next to one of them that came in with him and retired.
Trevor up top, a triple, off, and a rebound by O'Neal. Although you,
of course, talent had a lot to do with that.
But you don't take summers off either. You don't work out now or in the summer. So it's balance. Pacers by 10. O'Neal inside. It has been a big party for the Pacers here in the third. Petit out of the game because of the flagrant foul. 4 fouls on Blount. And they just keep going inside. And they equal their biggest lead of this game. By Miller, reset the shot clock.
And when you get good guys that are looking for you inside, I mean, look at the big guys feeling each other. It's like, I know where you are. And you get good position like that, and it just looks very easy. I've been very impressed with O'Neal and Miller just being aware of where each other are.
Here's missed. Reggie goes up and gets the rebound. Miller. McCarty out defensively.
Got him.
Miller, nice. Better pass O'Neal. He's fouled. Beautiful example of getting it inside, and the cutters following.
Well, the big guy tandem, just being aware. Right there, didn't rotate quick enough. O'Neal cut. And I remember seeing that a few years ago when I was watching Duncan and Robinson. And they just had a good feel for where each other was and who was high and who was low. And you can sense that. You can sense that these two guys right here, if you're open and I get the ball, I know what you're going to do. It's almost like an offensive line. You just know what the other guy's going to do. These guys feel where they're going to be, hit you, and it's really fun to watch when two big guys are in unison like that.
And because of Boston's foul trouble here in this game and the ejection of Petit, they don't have an answer inside right now. Grant Long is out there. In January, Grant Long, he was coaching youth basketball in Atlanta. There he is in the NBA playoffs now, trying to stop a Pacer team that won 48 games and has its largest lead of the game at 14.
I haven't heard Paul Pierce's name in quite some time.
Here's Pierce. He didn't do anything, but he said it for you. He's 3 of 16. Look at the Pacers guard the three-point strike. They know you're going to take it out there. We'll let O'Neal back there defensively. We'll maybe Antoine Walker at the end of the clock there. 12-point game. Allen knows Boston jacks him up more than anybody in the history of the NBA. 2,155 three-point attempts. Save to the math, 26 per night. Our test will take it through. Made one earlier, not there.
Well, I think the way the game's going right now, if you're Indiana, you got to at least get it inside, let the big guys touch it once, and then jack it up.
4 on Brad Miller.
And you look right here, how they're just getting out, right switch, over the top, switch back, over the top. They're just not going to let him get the 3 off. And finally Walker says, well, I can go by you. And he does.
Miller to the bench with 4. Al Harrington, who had 3 fouls in the first half, checks in. Good overplay, Artest. Another steal. Bremer lost the handle, but still able to collect into that.
Strong in a beeline.
Third steal of the night for Artest. For the afternoon, beg your pardon. Now here's Ron defensively on Pierce. continues to be brutal from the field. 3 of 18. 17, beg your pardon. O'Neal. Timeout Boston. The Pacers taking complete control of the third.
Well, despite 12 suspensions this season for Ron Artest and a lot of outside accusations that he's been a distraction, his teammates will all tell you they love having him on his team. When I asked Reggie Miller earlier about Artest's image, Miller was emphatic.
I am the biggest 100% Ron Artest fan. And the people that are making those comments are opponents, other general managers, and other coaches. If they had Ron Artest on their team, they would love him. To me, he's the Bill Laimbeer of the league. Everyone loved to hate him, but if he was on your team, oh, it'd be okay.
You know, even Pat Riley, the Miami coach who Artest had a run-in with earlier this season, said, I'd love to have 12 of him on my team.
People need to understand Ron Artest's background as well, and that in no way excuses the actions he has been involved with during the year. But he grew up in a family of 8, and in every phase in his life, whether it was growing up in the projects of Queensbridge, a tough neighborhood in New York, or on through his couple of years at St. John's, every response to crisis was conflict in Ron Artest's life. Pierce hits a tough shot, finally getting his 4th field goal of this game. It's a 14-point lead. The problem is the NBA has changed. Isaiah knows better than anybody else. He lived with Laimbeer and Edwards, Rodman, Mahorn. That team was the baddest of bad boys. Delk draws the foul. And Isaiah said it's a different NBA now where you can't do some of that stuff. Imagine the flagrant foul points Laimbeer and Mahorn would have had.
Forget about it. They would have been suspended before the season ever started.
And again, it doesn't make what's happened with Ron Artest right. The guy only went to school at St. John's for 2 years, had 2 different coaches, and has not been able to get a foundation to build from. I thought it was interesting when he told Greg Anthony on SportsCenter this morning, you saw some of it at halftime of Game 1, I will not get suspended again, he said. Well, here are the 4 suspensions. The camera incident in New York, the behavior with the bump of Pat Riley and the fans as well. The 1-game suspension for breaking a picture in the locker room here in Indiana, and then the flagrant foul points as they added up into 4 games of suspension. The guy's got to learn, and you can only hope that he will learn because of the people he's around, the good examples like Thomas and Miller. Guys who were tough and no angels in the league, but ended up doing it respectfully at the end. Harrington was 3, Walker the 4. Celtics trying to get it under 10, 2.5 in the third.
Walter's open. That corner.
Finds the stripe, missed the 3. Harrington the ball.
Sometimes you have too much time. You catch it, you wait, it just goes like a runner.
Reggie's bounce for Jermaine O'Neal off Jermaine. What do you think about Artest? Do you think that's a fair statement to bring up that pass and say that has contributed to what's happened on the court this year?
Yeah, absolutely. Sooner or later, you got to grow up and you got to figure, okay, I got to get it. And the one thing that scares me, or not that scare me, but I'd be scared if I were Isaiah Thomas' teammate. He knows he has a problem. I mean, he knows. They're talking about anger management problems. Johnny Walsh did, the president. He said, yeah, I could use some of that. It's not like he's in denial about all this. It's just sometimes he snaps out there and he just can't control himself. But I thought it was a nice job controlling himself today when Tony Batiste got kicked out. And he just little baby steps. Things the men will get better.
Reggie rimmed to 3, board for McCarty. So a lot of shots being jacked up here. If the Celtics can bang a few, they'll get a little bit closer. Delta picks up the foul on the Pacers. They're first in the last 2 minutes. So it's Celtic ball. Chevy game track for you here from Conseco Fieldhouse. If you're just joining us, Pearson Walker are scoring more. The rest of the team had a great first quarter. Their scoring's gone down, and the Celtics are nowhere near their normal 3-point shooting. O'Neal is 22, Artest 17, and Indiana's had a fast break edge as they have on Boston in the other meetings this year. These teams split the 4 regular season meetings, both winning the 2 games on their home floor.
Well, Boston having a hard time just finding the hole this quarter. Went from 26, 26, and now only 15 this quarter.
Pierce over Artest. And O'Neal steal another board. Nobody in the Eastern Conference has as many double-doubles as Jermaine O'Neal. Got another one here. Tim Hardaway back in the game. On the switch, he has Pierce. Somebody's got to have a mismatch. It's our test on Delt. Brown's why he's begging for it. I got Delt. Give it up. I got Delt. Harrington outside of 3.
He tried to give Mike in both hands.
Priceless
hand, that hand.
Williams. By Al Harrington. Not a big shot blocker for his size and length, but a nice send back there.
Go ahead, just top that one. Yeet.
Then to shoot for the Seeds, down a dozen. Here's posting on our test. Looked it out. Now we're going to have a foul call on the Pacers in our test, trying to guard Pierce. Well, game 2 of this series will be played Monday night, and you can see it on NBA TV. And that will be in high definition as well. So game 2 of this series, Monday, 8:30 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern Standard Time here in Indianapolis. I love the way they do it here in this building. Old school.
It's awesome. You look around the whole arena, you get the old, I don't know, I guess they're made out of wood advertisements. It's not the, the piping around. It's all electronic around here.
You mean that you missed that big neon blue and red thing that we see in every generic building now?
Yeah, I missed that a lot. Out-of-town scores on the old scoreboard, which is very cool, kind of like they used to do. Wrigley still do it. They probably still do it, Wrigley, Fenway, and stuff like that. It's just neat. When you walk in here, you think basketball, which is a neat thing.
You don't think like rodeo, like the SBC down in San Antonio? Hockey is a basketball building in basketball country. 8 to shoot. Celtics looking for a stop and a score, trying to get it down to 8 or 7. Here's their chance. Our test.
Well, he makes it work.
Here's back and he wants to shoot this so bad on our test. He's worked his whole possession. Clock running down. Up in the air. McCarty did get it off. Ron Artest defense, the difference there, right?
This makes you work and work and work.
Reggie Miller, 13 points. It's not the Reggie Miller of the old C. Spike Lee courtside at MSG. We'll go up against the other teams in the Eastern Conference. It's a veteran Reggie who's taking the shots when they need them and doing a little bit more of the little things. Because at age 37, the clock is ticking on his career, and he wants to cinch the finals one more time. He knows he's got the young crew to carry him. They had a good quarter there. They took a 6-point lead out to 10. After 1, 6 after 2, by 10 here in the 4th.
Like you call Homer Simpson, beer, yummy beer.
Jonathan Bender in the game. Harrington doubled as the Celtics try to force some turnovers. Hardaway at 3. Timmy missed it. Rebound Harrington. Fresh shot clock on our test. Calls for it. And says, open it up and settle it down, man.
Fox has got to get back to being aggressive, and by that I mean aggressively driving it. Oh!
Timmy split the double.
Oh, he went retro on him there.
Harrington. Long and wide, and the rebound for Boston.
But as bad as it was in the third quarter, still only down 10 points. He got no points in the paint, 0 to Indiana's 8, and this is something that Boston did real well in the first half with 26 points in the paint.
Well, as we said, they go as far as their threes and as far as their 2. Their 2 guys, and Pierce and Walker today, are 10 of 34. That is 29%. That's not going to win any playoff games for this team or anybody else if their 2 best guns are 10 of 34 from the field.
And not nearly as efficient as they need to be. 10 for 34 between them is not going to get it done. I'm not asking these guys, not that they have to shoot 50%, they just don't do that. You can't be under 40%.
But they can go 8 for 10 here in the 4th, and change the whole game. And they're still within touch. 7-point game, a minute 10 gone by, 4th quarter.
Pierce is one of those guys, too, that is very good in the 4th quarter. He'll get your points in the 4th quarter, but when you're a team that shoots a lot of threes, you can get out of it in a hurry, you can get back into it in a hurry.
That foul is on the floor on Eric Williams. As Indiana's going to try to stem a 9-0 run across the quarter break. Only player on the floor in foul trouble is 4. 4 fouls on Brad Miller of Indiana. Everybody else 2 or 3. Denver guarded by Pierce in the 4th minute here for the 7-footer. Artest with the clock running down. Bender gets the board, tries to go right at Pierce. The call not to the win. Back to Hardaway. We call for it up top. Keeping with the young guys. Artest to Bender to O'Neal. He's coming to find Bender.
Their big guys have done a nice job of cutting when their fellow big guys get doubled. And a lot of big guys will stand around and watch. And right here, it's a double. Look at that right there. Whoop. As soon as you see the numbers on the back of your guy's jersey, it's time to go. And that's what happened. He saw the numbers. He cut to the bucket. Jermaine O'Neal put it right on the money.
One more coming for Bender. Tim Hardaway is going to go out. Just a little bumping and physical play on that sequence.
Yeah.
Jermaine O'Neal was jawing with one of the Celtics. Tim Hardaway walked right over and said, grabbed him, quiet. And Tim's going to play like 3 minutes here in this game. End of the second, this stretch here in the third. They just did a lot of good things. That will be Pacer ball because the official was standing out of bounds when Antoine Walker hit him. Joey Crawford standing out of bounds, thus it's out of bounds off Boston since Twan hit it last. Fresh shot clock for the Pacers. Jamal Tinsley back into the point. He's had a good game. 11 points, 8 assists, 4 boards, and he's taking care of it. Just 2 turnovers here this afternoon. Celtics thought it was off O'Neal. They say McCarty brushed it. Jimmy O'Brien working it hard here on the sidelines. Zeke looking unruffled as usual. One of the coolest players of all time. Hall of Famer, Isaiah Thomas. Artest. Now to see the shooting.
Boy. You got to make him make that shot. You can't foul him on a shot where he's proven adept at going to his left, but going to his left, fading out of bounds, and he has to switch the ball back to the right hand and make that shot. That's a shot you just got to say, buddy, you make that one. Sure. Nice shot.
Brown will get one more. We got here yesterday in a story in the paper how, well, maybe if the Pacers don't win this series and go out in the first round for the 3rd straight year, it could be perhaps time to talk of a coaching change here after Isaiah Thomas's team went 48-34. You get lost in the perspective. This is the youngest team in the playoffs. They advanced, as we said, from an 8 seed last year to a 3 seed this year. They opened up 33-14. A lot of stuff happened in February and March. It's still a very young team. And to say that this is a make-or-break series for Isaiah might be short-sighted. Walker a 3. He's hit 2 here in the quarter. Trying to get the Celtics back in. They're within 7, 9.5 to go. A couple of threes. Feel good. Bender will try 3. Missed it. Dealt the board. Sees to get it to 5 or 4. Bender right in Pierce's mug. Ball try to spin him, but Bender's too long to get around.
Get up on him.
Walker thinking about taking. Threw them all. Dealt a 3. The shot clock out of bounds. Pacer box. Delk hasn't been able to get much going thus far. He's 3 of 9. 1 of 5 behind the arc. Delk, their best percentage 3-point shooter, just under 40%. Artest right at Pierce. Left hand finish.
He's nice with that left hand.
The reason he becomes such a lightning rod, other than the stupid actions he has taken on the floor, is that he is so talented. He's so diverse. Another steal. His 4th. With the brakes on. Bender 3. Miller on the board. Fouled by Antoine Walker.
Antoine Artest drug the pivot foot, and I'm not so sure he wasn't right. How well Steven Jackson and Manu Ginobili perform in the playoffs are going to determine how far they can go in the playoffs.
Here it is, 84-75. Artest again, and the foul. So Ron Artest, only a dozen shots in this game. Tom, you were pointing out during the break. 12 shots for 23 points.
That's efficiency. I mean, that is incredible. 8 for 12, 4 steals. He's fun to watch on the defensive end with anticipation.
Jim O'Brien, some questions to handle. Michelle, what about the timeout?
He said you guys are playing your hearts out defensively, but then you're allowing the Pacers to penetrate or get a rebound. We have to shut that down. He also said, Mike, he said, I've got plenty of timeouts. It's a 9-minute game. I can rest you guys with timeouts, but you've got to carry us. You have got to carry us.
They got 3 timeouts left. Pacers going to have to take one here before action is done. For a little bit of extra effort, McCarty trying to deny Artest now inside. Bender continues to stay in the game.
Jeez. It's a misdemeanor for that.
Antoine Walker, I think his arm went under Jermaine O'Neal's arm and out the other side.
Jermaine O'Neal better look for his wallet. My goodness. Yeah, look at this right here. He's like up and under. Give me that. Give me that. There's a ball in there somewhere. And then what? What are you talking about?
4 on Antoine.
Oh, my goodness.
Also 4 on Walter McCarty.
Guys, I can also tell you that Antoine Walker, he's just very jacked up right now. In that last huddle, he was asking all the players around him, what is going on? Come on, what is up? Let's get it going. So he's the most vocal guy on the bench, and right now, probably the most vocal on the floor, guys.
Well, he needs to step up. Somebody needs to, and he's trying to answer the call with 18 here. Paul Pierce does have 19 points, but he has done it on a very poor shooting night. 4 of 19 for Pierce. 1 of 2 for O'Neal, who's 73% at the line, improved from 60% 3 years ago. 88-75. Pacers by 13, 7.5 to go. Pierce. Toughest shot of the night, the day he makes, and a chance for a 3-point play.
Well, if he makes a free throw, then they will match what they put up in the first 2 quarters. First quarter, 26, second quarter, 26. And with that bucket and a free throw, it will take them a quarter and 4.5 minutes to get their next 26. They're just not on all cylinders right now on offense.
Pierce 11 of 11 from the line. Set a Celtic record with 753 attempts this year. Got to the line 9.5 times a game. Paul's taking a physical pounding this year. Not just the outside game. We talk about the threes all the time. Ender took him in. Now, blast off the Pacers. It almost looked like a foul. Good. Artest is trying to guard Delk from getting to the ball and hip checked him. Into the
And you know what he's with him? He's so big and strong that if you run into him, you're going to bounce. Right, he gave him a little elbow into the turnbuckle. But we will see if just a couple threes. I don't sense a spark. And that's where they need to be. They need to be driving. They need to be aggressive.
And Artest just picked up his 5th. So back-to-back fouls. Artest has 5. Miller has 5. If Boston can remain aggressive here, they're going to have a chance to get back in it.
You know, nobody more so than Paul Pierce is enjoying watching him go to the bench. It's like, I can breathe. Hold on, take me away. Not that Harrington can't guard him, but he's not near the defense that Artest is.
Al gets the assignment now. Walker faking, got close. Delk needs to knock one down. Look at he does. 7-point game. And the Pistons, or the, look at Isaiah, I said Pistons. The Pacers take a timeout when they come across midcourt. A good run by Boston, just what Michelle said from the timeout. Give us some effort on the defensive end. Hit a couple of big shots.
Mari Stoudemire has to be one of the front runners with Yao Ming. That young man made it to the playoffs. He takes on the Spurs next.
Kevin, here at Conseco Fieldhouse, Indiana's led by as many as 16. They have led most of the way, but it's now a 7-point game. The defensive glove, Ron Artest, has 5 fouls. He's on the bench, but he is the topic of Sprite, mad.
And it's defensively and offensive of the day. I love his anticipation, jumping in the passing lane, picking them off, and generally speaking, those turnovers that Ron Artest delivers are turning into points for the Pacers. So we study the defense on the Mad Steel, but the offense as well. 24 points over there sitting on the bench.
Now, with him on the bench, we'll see what happens with Paul Pierce. As Pierce and Walker try to climb Boston back in here in the paint. Reggie Miller returns for Indiana. With O'Neal, Harrington, Tinsley, and Brad Miller. 5 to shoot. Here's Dean up the point guard. The skip to Reggie. Got to get one off. He does. Rebound, Tony Delk. Delk, a half-dozen boards. Celtics can really make them squirm with a hoop here as we come across the halfway mark, fourth quarter. Walker to the goal. Nice move. He went right at Miller. Finished with the left hand, and it's a 5-point Indiana lead. All those faces start to believe a little bit on the bench.
They need to try to get that ball to Miller or O'Neal and let them work off.
Williams went for the steal. Miller missed it. They crashed the glass, and Boston came away with it. Look at Miller swinging his arms. Joey Crawford watching him closely as he comes back the other way. Pierce trying to go between the legs. Harrington got a hand on it. Foul on Pierce. His fourth.
Where's the shake we're talking about in his game a little bit? Boom. By you. I'm surprised that somebody, doesn't step up. But, when you're playing against this team, you're scared because if you step up, kick it out for a three-pointer, and then all of a sudden the way we're rolling, it's a 4-point game. So, when they're shooting the threes, they catch you in that mood. Do I step up and try to take the charge, or do I defend against the three?
Brad Miller at the line. The Celtics are now over the limit. Brad went to high school in Maine. I told you he went to Purdue. But he was born in Fort Wayne, so Brad Miller is the first Indiana-born player to play for the Pacers regularly since Randy Whitman a decade ago. That's it. It's the best I got for you tonight. 1 of 2, and the Celtics get the board, down 6 with 5.5 to go. Game 1 of the best of 7. Game 2 is Monday here at Conseco before we go back to Boston Thursday and Sunday for games 3 and 4. Here's stepping back. Ice cold here today. 5 of 21 for Paul Pierce. Didn't have many 5 of 21 afternoons or evenings. Miller fouled up top. And frustrated Eric Williams. Well, our NBA schedule for the rest of the night. Best wishes to our friends at TNT as we share the playoffs with them. Portland, Dallas, Utah, Sacramento, their doubleheader tonight. On ABC tomorrow, it's Lakers, Minnesota. Tip at 3:30 Eastern. The shoot-around show starts at 3. And this Game 2 on NBA TV tomorrow. Miller makes the first. And don't forget, Game 1 of the other Eastern Conference series, the Detroit Pistons taking on the Orlando Magic, will be on ESPN. 12:30 Eastern Time tomorrow from the Palace of Auburn.
That's going to be a fun one. You get the team defense against one of the top superstars in the game, and, can he get his 30? I think he's going to have one of those series where he averages 35 points to have a chance.
Pierce took Harrington. No chance to stop him once he got 2 plays. It's Bob. Remember, no Tony Matee for Boston. If you're just joining us late, a flagrant 2, automatic ejection, a hard foul. He committed on Ron Artest in the second quarter. O'Neal wrapped up by Pierce. 2 shots coming. 5 on Pierce.
Well, when you don't have Ron Artest on, you sit on the bench and say, hey, maybe I might be able to do something here. This little boinks him off right there. That's all it is about creating space. And right there, just, drive the elbow into him a little bit.
Artest ready to come in. See, Tom, I think the problem, though, right now, they got nothing on this defensive end here for the Pacers.
Yeah.
3rd consecutive trip, they're coming to the line. Pierce and Walker now getting a foul trouble. Artest comes back in for Reggie.
Well, they're having to score every trip down just to stay in it. which is a problem. And you have to get some stops. They got some stops 3 or 4 minutes ago to get back into this game. And you look at the free throws right there. I mean, they've only got to the line one. Oh, they'll give them their due. They made that one. And the Pacers 8 for 13 now.
6-point lead.
But still, amazingly enough, it's a 6-point game. This does not feel like a 6-point game. A couple threes, it's a tie game.
Harrington stays on Pierce. They don't put Artest on him with the 5. The kick in the corner, Eric Williams. Rim down a triple. Artest the board. 5 rebounds for Ron.
I think the Pacers need to start looking for something a little earlier in the shot clock. I think they're starting to milk it just a little bit too much, and therefore it's hard to get out shots and get down to 4 or 5 seconds.
Here's Walker double. Contact but no foul. Beat inside to Miller. McCarty got all ball. Pacer fans disagree. Count 3. Wait. Not even in the neighborhood. Tinsley brings it to the front court. 3:40 to go. A little ragged here right now. All comes back together. 8 to shoot.
You got to just run your normal offense. It's tough to get shots off that late in the shot clock.
Miller lets 2 fly by. And Jim O'Brien calls for time. Big hoop there. Only 2 fourth-quarter field goals for the Pacers, but their undrafted center, Brad Miller, comes up with a big hoop.
Look at this leaner. Oh! Forget about getting it 2 feet away. Let's go ahead and leap and lean off the glass.
That's a 7-footer making those moves.
How any team wins playoff games. Play the passing lanes, get some steals, block shots. The Pacers very good half-court defensive team.
And Al Harrington closing the door right there on Eric Williams. Log on to ESPN.com and vote for your Doctors Defenders Edge. Meanwhile, the San Antonio Spurs hitting the floor in the SBC Center. That's the man they're going to have to stop, Stephon Marbury. Mike?
Jim Durham, Greg Anthony Norris Burke standing by at the SBC. We'll take you down to the Riverwalk in a little bit. Still some business here in downtown Indianapolis. The Pacer faithful, they love their hoops here in Hoosier Land, Indiana, up 8. We are in the bonus both ways now. Every foul is a couple of free throws, and each team can stop the clock 3 more times. Most important numbers, home team up 8. Pierce around Artest that time, through the contact, and the foul on Jermaine O'Neal. His 4th. And Jermaine took the worst of that one. Our top scorers tonight, 24 this afternoon, excuse me. Walker has 20, but the 24 for O'Neal and Artest for Indiana, and for Pierce of Boston. So many of his 11 have come from the line. Just hit 1-3. You see the NBA leader and a Celtics franchise record in free throw makes and attempts. Clean on all 13 here today.
Yeah, I really don't think throughout the course of this series, it's going to be difficult if these games start getting up in the hundreds for the Celtics to win. They just don't play that style of basketball. They average 92, 93 points a game and try to get you in one of those type games. I think with the amount of players that Indiana has,
Pierce with 5 was being very careful and throws the personal on Harrington.
the style they like to play. I think the more this gets up into the hundreds, Indiana's going to be a favorite. Right there, they'll let you get away with that one bump, but the second one, or the 5th one, excuse me, that was the last straw. That was it. Not 5 of them. I'll let you know it's 4.
5 on Harrington. Pierce on the take all the way. He gets fouled. Hard collision that time with O'Neal. 2nd consecutive one. So now O'Neal has 5. And Isaiah's got some worries. O'Neal, Artest, and Brad Miller all have 5 personal fouls.
And you look at the way he jumps into you, too. I mean, he drives in and jumps into you as well.
They just announced 6 personal fouls, and they thought it was on Harrington. They've corrected it. It is O'Neal with 5. Pierce comes back to the line, the 80% shooter. 14. O'Neal joins Miller, Harrington, and Artest. 4 on the floor have 5.
There's a real good bet next Indiana foul. Don't foul now.
Yes. Tinsley, who has the ball, he only has 3. 4-point game as we approach 2.5 left in game 1. Taylor bounce taken away by Pierce. It could be 2 or 1. Tinsley turned off the top on Pierce, who is tripled. Now doubled. Calls for time as he barely had possession of the ball. 2:21 left, and the Celtics will have the ball. Inching ever closer. Offensive end has not gone as easy for the Pacers, and there is uneasiness here in Conseco Fieldhouse. Celtics ball down 4.
3 months. Lamisil AT. There's no better way to cure athlete's foot.
Back in Indianapolis, where the Pacers have seen a lead as big as 16. Dwindled down to 4 with 2:21 to go here in the 4th quarter. A reminder coming up next, Game 1, Phoenix, San Antonio. We'll get you out to the SBC Center. Jim Durham, Greg Anthony, Doris Burke as soon as we're done. Tonight, TNT's doubleheader. Portland, Dallas, Utah, Sacramento. Lakers, Minnesota on ABC tomorrow. And this Game 2, Boston, Indiana, will be on NBA TV in high definition on Monday night. 16 to shoot for the Celtics. They can get it to 2 or 1.
I just get it to Pierce and let him drive. That's what he's been doing.
Not on our test, but on Harrington, trying to save it with 5. In the air, McCarty. Now 4 to shoot. Telks trying to make it happen. He twirls through the lane. It's tipped. Fires Juan Walker. He beat the shot clock. It's a 2-point game. 2 minutes to go.
Amazing. Indiana found a way to get their offense back on track. One for their last 8 field goals. They haven't had a field goal in the last 6 minutes.
Out of bounds. Off Antoine. They stay with the Pacers. Isaiah's going to go back to Reggie here. Reggie Miller not in, and the other offensive option. Cheered by the fans who were looking for Reggie the last couple of minutes as the Pacers have gone cold in the 4th quarter.
It is this effort right here. This is something they did very well in the first half. It's offensive rebounding. Just flip, get in the middle there, make yourself thin if you can.
Artest lost it, but he's fouled by Williams, the 4th on Eric.
I see this happen to so many teams. They'll get that 12, 13-point lead with about 5 or 6 minutes to go, and they start looking at the finish line. They'll start trying to milk the shot clock, hold the ball, let's not let them come back. I'm a firm believer you have to wait till at least 2 minutes left in the game before you change your offensive strategy.
Artest 7 of 7 from the line, now 8 of 8. Brad Miller has come in for Reggie Miller. Offense, defense. Game for Artest tonight, this afternoon. So he's the nice game. 74% shooter. Makes it a 2-possession game. Buck 45 to go.
Well, I'd be surprised they put Artest back on Pierce for the last minute and a half.
He's there. Pierce running around the baseline, trying to lose him. Fans on their feet at Conseco. Pierce a 3. Knocks it down and sits them down in Indianapolis. 1-point game, 90 seconds to go.
I don't know what you're thinking right now if you're inside the head of the Pacers. Because this game was theirs. It looked easy. And if you lose this one at home, this is really feverish.
Reggie not on the floor. They didn't go offense, defense. Harrington backing, sees the double, got nowhere to go. Finds O'Neal, 1 on the clock. He beat the clock. It's short. Out of bounds off. Boston. Pacer ball. And a timeout taken by Indiana. Has a dozen points in the quarter. 31 on the game, and Boston's back in it. It's Pacer ball when you come back to Conseco. 66 seconds left, and the sharp shooting Celtics have kept Boston in Game 1 of this best of 7. One of the best money time is cashing in for the Green today. The first 3, they think Paul Pierce will come back with this kind of 4th quarter.
Well, it's just a matter of him getting aggressive, getting to the painted area, forcing the contact, getting himself to the free throw line time and time again. then you get your confidence rolling. That's when you can step out and shoot that one someone's mug. He's one of the guys that's getting it done. Now, for the Pacers, Jermaine O'Neal's got to touch the ball and time down the court. He's got to touch it. Reggie spaces out. Tinsley spaces out. Harrington spaces out. But you got to give O'Neal a chance to work on Walker. And if they double, then that's when you have other guys stepping up.
Our test watched by Eric Williams. Delcon Tinsley. Reggie comes off the O'Neal bump. Tries to tee up the young big man. Can't do it. Well defended by Boston. Now it's back inside. They clear space for O'Neal. He's waiting. Sizing Walker up. Who knocked it away. It's loose on the floor. Out of bounds. Off Boston, but 3 seconds on the shot clock. 20-second timeout taken by Isaiah.
Nice play by Antoine Walker there, too. But you're talking about a guy who knew he wanted to go back to the right shoulder and just kind of waited for him. And if you're Antoine Walker, you know you're not going to jump with this kid. So you're going to wait, keep your eye on the ball, and as soon as he turns, loose.
Nice.
All ball. Nice play by Antoine Walker.
Nice look, guys. Jimmy Moore, our director, Tim Corrigan, our producer, the rest of our crew here as we get set for the final 44.4 and only 3 seconds on the shot clock here. So Boston in a great position to have the ball with a chance for the lead in a couple of
You got to look for Reggie Miller catching it. And with 3 seconds left, be aware of the pump fake. He pump fake in. If you jump, the lead keeps jumping into you, and he'll end up on the free throw line.
That's the point you made earlier. When you're defending Reggie, it's one of the things he does as well as anybody. 17-year veteran. Remember, it's Pacer ball where it went out of bounds at midcourt. So it may be a long pass in. It is to O'Neal. Short. Here's the rebound. And he's fouled by Artest, who is fouled out. And at the line, Pierce can give the Celtics the lead. That was not good.
Well, that's a mental misfire right there. And you got to make them earn the last 2 points. You can't get in there. And I know Ron Artest wanted a jump ball. But when you only have one hand on the ball, the other guy has two, they're not going to give you a jump ball in that situation.
Underway at SBC in San Antonio. Get you to Jim Durham, Greg Anthony, and Doris Burke. As soon as we're done here in Indianapolis, Artest has fouled out. Very good game for Ron today. And a silly foul there. Pierce has made all 15 of his free throws. Squares the game at 95. First time in 37.5 minutes, the Boston Celtics lead Game 1 of this Eastern Conference opening round best of 7, 96-95. No Artest. Pacer ball, 40.8 to go. Be right back.
But if they run Jermaine O'Neal, whoever McCarty's guarding has to flash to the high post, and then you have a nice, easy, high-low opportunity.
Dealt defensively on Tinsley. O'Neal comes over. Defense by Walker. Miller at the free throw line. Draws the contact. And Brad Miller, an 82% free throw shooter, get the chance to get the Pacers the lead back.
Nice play by the Pacers right there. I mean, they're making it hard to jam it in. They're forcing Jermaine O'Neal so high to post up that was a good job of swinging it up to the top. And then Brad Miller, nice aggressive play to get to the free throw line.
Well, in the last time out, Jim O'Brien told his team, number 1, let's be organized. Number 2, deny everything. And number 3, no matter what happens on this end, meaning this possession for Indiana, we are not taking a timeout. And Reggie Miller coming out of the game right now, Mike.
Go defense with Jeff Foster, a longer player at 6'11 here. All tied at 96. Good free throw shooter Miller. Try to give the Pacers the lead. Taking their spot above the three-point line. Trying to help out on the rebound opportunity. They're in them both.
Couldn't resist.
20 with the Pacers out of them. 32 seconds to go. Pacers by 1. And as you said, Tom, they've got to be so nervous because this is an all-time thievery if Boston walks out of here with this win.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, they came from nowhere. And even though they're, 10, 12, 13 points down, it seems like a lot more than that. And right here, if you're Isaiah Thomas, do you double team Paul Pierce? That's where they're going. They're going to try to get Paul Pierce loose, let him go one-on-one, and drive to the hole. That's what's been most effective. If you double, who do you double off of? Do you double off McCarty? Probably not. Maybe a guy like Eric Williams, who's not a great outside shooter, you come off, but you don't want, I don't think in this situation you want Paul Pierce to beat you.
You saw San Antonio, the early one-point edge to Jim Durham, Greg Anthony, Dorisburg. As soon as we're done here at Conseco. There's the man. 3 of 4 this quarter, 7 of 7 at the line, 17 of 17. One of the better playoff free throw performances ever. In the hands of Pierce. Boston defensively at 3. For Pierce is good! Boston by 2. 2.5-second difference. Game and shot clock. The Pacers don't have a timeout. Paul Pierce, what a man-size effort. O'Neal. Skip pass. Harrington. He takes the big 3. In and out. Rebound Boston. Pierce. They've got to foul him. With 7.5 to go. Unbelievable comeback by the Celtics.
The big guys, superstars step up big games, and that's basically what Paul Pierce has done. I mean, he's taken it upon his shoulders, and I think you got to double this one. You can't let Brad Miller, Jeff Foster, excuse me, out there on Pierce, and my goodness, well, it doesn't matter who's in his face right now.
Indiana, 1 field goal in the last 8 minutes and 10 seconds. Pierce at the line. Continuing this show, 18 of 18. No timeouts, remember. Cousy once made 30 free throws, so that's not a record, but the percentage is right up there. 19 of 19. He scored 19 in the fourth quarter. They need 2 possessions here. Don't foul if you're Boston. Tinsley tries to draw the contact. He hit the 3. No timeouts, 2.9 to go. And see, the immediate foul is called on Miller. Tinsley came very close to drawing the contact.
You see right here, Tinsley coming down. He just don't jump. And Del pulled his hand back right there, just in time as Tinsley made the 3. And if you're Boston right here, and Pierce makes 2 free throws, there's no reason to think that he won't. You go up 3. You have to decide, do you want to let him get off a 3-pointer, or do you want to foul him and make them make free throws?
Well, Paul Pierce is one of the best NBA players in the fourth quarter, statistically the last couple of years, and he has been here this afternoon. He's hit all 20 of his free throw attempts in this game.
Well, it took him a while to get the motor going, stuck in first and second gear, but he ended up in 5th.
All 21 of his free throws. A 40-point game. A 3 to tie. It's Bender from 50 feet short, and the Boston Celtics escape with a steal of game 1. They were down 16. They were down 10 when this quarter started, but Paul Pierce had one of the great free throw shooting performances in the history of the NBA playoffs, making all 21, a huge fourth quarter, and the Indiana Pacers let one slip away. A 21-point fourth quarter for Pierce gives Boston game 1 of the best of 7 with game 2 here Monday night. It was Paul Pierce at the free throw line with 21 of 21, and the huge 3 to close it out. As Boston, over Jeff Foster, gets Pierce the shot to put them ahead for good. Our final score, Celtics 103, Pacers 100. For Michelle Tafoya, Tom Tolbert, Mike Tirico, thanks for watching this presentation of ESPN, the worldwide leader in sports. For more, log on to ESPN.com. Straight away to San Antonio.
Hey, we got to get Amari Stoudemire going offensively. Since they've done that, they've been much more effective.
Robinson off the dive, and the pass is stolen by Marbury. The Suns bring it back, looking for the lead with 1:32 left. Penny Hardaway with a 3-ball. David Robinson picks off the rebound.
tell you what, this has just been one really good basketball game.
Can you imagine 6 more just like it?
I do imagine. I think it's going to possibly go 7.
Ginobili plays it left to Parker. Now Ginobili up the middle. Underneath to Robinson for the two-hand dunk.
There he is again, Manu Ginobili making plays. It's penetration. That's what San Antonio has to get. More penetration. Allow David Robinson, Tim Duncan to be more effective.
Another timeout taken by Phoenix. 68 seconds left in the overtime. And David Robinson's two-hand jam has given the Spurs the 2-point lead. Surprise with 16, although he's been drawing that extra defender all afternoon.
Oh, without question. When you look at Phoenix, Amari Stoudemire obviously with a huge game. Marbury and Marion, they've been there all year offensively, so you expect that. But they haven't shot with the type of field goal percentage that you'd like if you're Frank Johnson.
Out of this timeout, Doris Burke, what's Phoenix looking to do?
Well, the pick and roll. If he goes strong side, look for a jumper from Marion. Otherwise, a wrap around to a Stoudemire.
He goes all the way and tries the teardrop floater. Duncan the rebound. Less than a minute for the overtime.
Big defensive possession right now for Phoenix. Obviously, for San Antonio offensively, a score here really gives them a little bit of breathing room.
Duncan in the post, single coverage that time. Jansen for 3. And the rebound battle won by Marbury. As he saved the loose ball and then gets to the Stoudemire, 30 seconds left. They want to get a 2-for-1 if they can, and an offensive foul on Hardaway has taken that away.
Big play. Tony Parker stepping up. That's a huge play for the San Antonio Spurs and the Phoenix Suns, for that matter. Again, he's trying to beat him. Parker gets in there. That's a tough call to make at the end of the game, but hey, the official made it.
Actually, Phoenix will get it again on shot clock possession. There's 2.6 difference. Duncan works out toward the corner, and in doing so, a foul called on Hardaway. Penny Hardaway is fouled out. That's what overtime will do. It'll start to deplete your roster. Penny Hardaway being serenaded here on the public address system. And Bo Outlaw comes in to replace him. That's the first foul in the last 2 minutes. So it'll be sideline out of bounds for the Spurs after this timeout. 16 to shoot. 1.5 difference. A quick break, then we'll be back to the SBC Center. Spurs hanging on, leading by 2. History since they've gone to this format, and then it was a 5-game series when Denver did it to the Seattle Sonics in '94, and then the New York Knicks did it in '99, went all the way to the finals and lost to San Antonio.
Yeah, that was a great Knicks team, much like this team, much better than an 8 seed. So it'll be interesting to see how this series plays out. Big possession right now, though, if you're the Phoenix Suns. You got to figure out a way to at least get a foul and give yourself another possession.
Ginobili to throw in. He comes into Duncan, and they take the foul quickly to put Duncan on the line with 15 to shoot and 16.8 left.
Good play by Phoenix. You know, you got to give yourself a chance. There's not that much time between the shot clock and what was on the 24-second clock, I should say, and the game clock.
Duncan 2 of 4 today. 2 of 5. And the door is still open.
I don't know. This could be another overtime here, JB. I don't know.
Duncan, a 71% shooter during the regular season, does make the second one. Phoenix is taking time. A 3-point game. 16.
They weren't listening. You know, he said they were very coachable, but obviously tonight they've relied heavily on that 3. It hasn't been successful, but they still have a chance to win this basketball game.
Amari Stoudemire is the reason we're playing the extra 5 minutes. He banked home that 3.
I'll tell you what, he felt pretty confident there. You know, he had the wrist cocked, knocked it down. Looking at his mouth, I didn't see him call glass, but it counts just the same.
We've gone to overtime here with our NBA playoff action. If you tuned in to watch the National Hockey League Stanley Cup series between Dallas and Edmonton, it's on ESPN2 right now, and we'll go there when we're done with basketball.
We talked about it earlier, the fact that you had Penny Hardaway foul out. He's one of your better three-point shooters, which helps to spread the floor even if you do decide to go for the two. It gives Stephon more room to penetrate.
Look at Stoudemire, 24 points in his playoff debut, 9 of 13 from the field, and of course that big killer three. He was 2 for 10 from three-point range during the regular season. You know, the other thing about him, Greg, is as he matures, he's going to become more assertive out there.
Remember,
and when that happens, he's really going to be alone.
You know, right now he's the third option. You know, eventually he's going to become the second and potentially the first option as his offensive repertoire advances.
Sean Marion to make the inbounds pass. 16.8 left in the overtime. Marion triggers to Marbury. Back to Marion. And a foul by Jackson. They had one to give.
Very smart foul there. They ate up about 5 seconds. Now you're almost putting yourself, if you're Phoenix, in a position where you might have to take the three now.
We'll see how they play it. Joe Johnson to make the inbounds pass. Hands it in play to Marion. Marion in the lane. Hands the shot up good. It's a one-point game with 7.2 left. The Spurs get it in play to Parker, and he's fouled immediately with 6.6 remaining. Tony Parker gets to the free throw line.
And again, we've talked about it, the fact San Antonio struggles from the line. Tony Parker, obviously a difficult night tonight offensively, but again has a chance to be the hero.
He's 2 for 4 in the game, and he's 76% during the regular season.
For the game, San Antonio shooting at a 68% clip.
And during the regular season, they were at 73, but Parker hits a big one here. 95-93. 6.6 left. Even if he scores, it's just a 3-point difference. Parker again. Trimming now. Rebound Duncan. Duncan trying to clear it out, and a foul call with 5.1 left. Duncan to the line. It's still not over because it's not a sure thing with Duncan there.
But again, you know, we talked about this a little bit. Offensive rebounding. Great ability to move his feet. He beat Stoudemire to the spot. Huge play for Tim Duncan.
The fans chanting MVP, and Duncan short arms the first one. Even if he hits it, it's only a 3-point game.
But you got to get this rebound. Plenty of time with the explosiveness of Stephon Marbury to get it up and still get his teammates an open three if he can't find one for himself. But you got to make sure you get this rebound. If he misses,
Suns are out of timeouts. He missed. Robinson tips it. Marbury has it. Here's Marbury on the drive. Here's your three.
oh! Man, can you believe it? Stephon Marbury struggling all game. Comes out with the runner at the buzzer. And the Phoenix Suns have shot San Antonio if the bucket counts.
And the officials are conferring near midcourt, and they will take a look. Phoenix wisely ran off the court to help influence this decision.
I think he's probably got, it looks like he definitely got it off. He got it off in plenty of time.
Yeah, I felt he did too.
Yeah, what a play. I tell you, again, we talked about it though, JD, free throw shooting. They missed 3 free throws down the stretch when they had an opportunity to put the game out of reach. They couldn't do it, and in this crazy game, anything can happen, and it did.
Ed F. Rush taking a look at it. It was banked in. Our replay seemed to prove the goal was good. 19,217 holding their breath at the SBC Center, waiting for the official word.
Unfortunately for San Antonio, they're waiting around, but there's no question he got this off in time. He had almost a half a second.
How about the Phoenix Suns? A banked-in three by Stoudemire sent the game into overtime. And perhaps a banked-in three has won it.
You know what? I think they're looking to see if it was a three. Definitely a three-pointer. Foot was definitely behind the line. That's the game. Man, a gritty performance by both teams. Unfortunately, again, I think maybe a little bit of lack of experience of San Antonio cost them in this game and their inability to make free throws down the stretch.
Same old, same old. The Phoenix Suns, who had their number during the regular season, come from 12 down in the second half to tie it and send the game into overtime and then to win it on the banked-in three by Stephon Marbury to lead the series 1-0. They got the home court advantage.
I tell you, you got to call them the cardiac kids. They just would not die. You know, San Antonio played well enough to win, obviously, but it's the little things down the stretch. Their inability to stop those 2 threes, and let's face it, hey, Stephon Marbury's shot. You know, you can't expect those types of shots to fall, but in this case, they banked both.
Takes the shot. Both teams are over. He foul against Harrington. They can't afford to get him nicked up because he has to deal with Pierce. Quick move, Pierce, another foul.
So Harrington just checked in, and he picked up his second.
When you have, excuse me, Matt, but when you have the defensive assignment of dealing with an offensive force like Paul Pierce, you've really got to stay focused on who that guy is, what he's going to do to you, and how he's going to affect the minutes that you're going to stay out on the floor. He is in an attack mode from the beginning of this ballgame. He's not taking a passive attitude, misses that free throw.
A rare miss by Pierce in this series. Harrington played 24 minutes on Saturday, missed a big three with 9 seconds left in the contest. Pierce gets the second. Austin Crozier along with Tinsley, O'Neal, Miller, and Harrington. For the Celtics, Blunt, Walker, Pierce, Bremer on the floor, and McCarty. Short corner, O'Neal. Gets through the double team and a whistle. And a foul.
Blunt picked up the foul. Jermaine O'Neal brought that ball into harm's way and was fortunate to get the call to go in his favor.
So O'Neal heads to the line. Jermaine O'Neal, 73% during the regular season against the Celtics. 85% in the regular season. On Saturday, he was 10 of 14 as he misses the first. Only had 2 points in the fourth quarter.
That's Saturday. Substitution. Petit comes in and Blunt goes out. Eric Strickland in. Artest back out on the floor. Miller down, as well as Jamal Tinsley.
Strickland on Saturday in game 1 played the last 8.7 seconds of the first half. That was it. He's played more off of the basketball than he has as the point guard as of late. But in for Tinsley here. Back to a 9-point game.
Seeing the Pacers come out with more pressure on the ball and keep Boston from moving, getting McCarty these opportunities.
Strickland with the rebound. McCarty misses his first three. Artest calling for the basketball. Crozier looking on the inside. Cut off by Petit.
See if the Pacers just start playing from the outside, dribble the ball and fight the clock. Turnover on Artest.
Turnover on the dribble penetration. Walker going baseline. Offensive rebound. McCarty. And one. McCarty working on the glass, and he heads to the line. Foul on Artest.
The quick push up the floor gets him in trouble, and you can see the quickness and the ability to, move by people with the ball. What Walker does sometimes when he's in close is quick shoot the ball, left it short, but McCarty was there to clean up.
McCarty, a factor coming in off of the bench. 3 of 5 from the floor, 2 of 4 from downtown. Sprinting to the bucket, and a whistle and a foul. On the dribble drive by Strickland. And J.R. Bremer just picked up his second. But McCarty with 9 points.
Eric Strickland with 2 shots for the Pacers.
At 3 in game 1.
McCarty playing in front of the home folks and wants them to remember, I used to be one of those guys that was special here.
That's right. That you talked an awful lot about. He was all everything in Indiana before attending the University of Kentucky. Tony Delk replacing J.R. Bremer.
Probably right. Have him up in the hollow heads. Trade. I mean, he didn't go to IU. He went to UK. He's unbelievable.
That is true. They made just a little bit of a run while he was there. Along with, of course, Tony Delk. Here's Pierce. Firing over Harrington, air ball. Pierce wanted to call, saying that he was slapped out of bounds in Indiana basketball.
Pierce will throw up some bad shots. He has a remarkable ability to play through them, almost like they don't exist, and still come up with some huge fourth quarters.
Cut off by Bateen. Here's our test for three. Crozier. O'Neal spins. The first two. And second chance points.
Young fella keeping him on his back. O'Neal's done a tremendous job inside.
15 points for O'Neal. McCarty steps in. Walker mishandles. He'll step out. Knocks it down.
Driving home the three right now. Boston has fought their way back into the game, and they got the Pacer defense scattered now.
20 of their 31. From the deadly duo, of course, of Walker and Pierce. O'Neal, jumper no, and Bateen limits them to one chance. Walker thought about it. McCarty thinking.
Well, McCarty is basically a three-point specialist. That's all he shoots. Is Artest almost stole that one.
Shot clock under 10. McCarty 36% during the regular season. Climbing up O'Neal, gathering the board and sending it to Strickland. On the run, O'Neal on the feed from Harrington. Harrington gets it back.
Now, the cuts that the Indiana Pacers were getting in the first quarter, the high percentage opportunities, those have gone away. And they're starting to play from the edges.
Only 2 offensive rebounds for the Indiana Pacers. That's Tony Delk.
And you ask, what is the problem of the Indiana Pacers? It's that they forget what made them successful, how they got the easy score. And sometimes they will get lulled into working one-on-one and working for the jump shot. Harrington has picked up his third.
Harrington, in 4 minutes of action, just earned his third. And the Boston Celtics are putting together a run. Shots from downtown are going. Antoine Walker gets it back, said, I got it. And of course, former University of Tennessee volunteer and current Indianapolis Colts. And let's send it over to Andre Aldridge. Andre?
All right, thanks a lot, Matt. I tell you what, Antoine Walker's value to the squad may be as big off the court as it is on, and it's pretty huge on. During the quarter break and during the last timeout, he's like a drill sergeant in the timeouts and huddles, kind of like the old trainer from Muhammad Ali, Drew Bundini Brown, telling the guys, it's just like I told you last game, they can't play with us, they can't do anything with us. And before the game, he told me, no matter what the score is in this contest, as long as it's close to double digits or close to 10 or 12, when the fourth quarter begins, they have supreme confidence that they can get the job done. Matt?
They're certainly proving that here in the second quarter. Bateen, no, and Crozier comes down with a rebound.
Well, in order to do well in the playoffs, you have to believe it. Your best players have to lead the way. And Walker and Pierce are the best players, and they play better as the game gets closer, and particularly in the fourth quarter play. Mercer's in the game.
Ron Mercer, Artest, Strickland gets it back. 3 on the shot clock. Mercer left open. For the Indiana Pacers, certainly a team that can doubt themselves because of what happened not only on Saturday, but also during the course of the regular season in the second half. Did not play well in fourth quarters. Game decided 5 points or less. There was just 1 and 7 offensive foul. Antoine Walker. And when you're a young team, where is your reference point?
Well,
you begin to struggle.
You have to remember, as I said before, what made you successful. We've seen that they've lost their way a little bit here in the first half of play, where they were moving the ball, cutting. They're now playing on the perimeter, and that is the kind of game that allows Boston to get back. It's the kind of game that gets Indiana into a streak of field goals missed. And so when you go like they did in game 1, 8 minutes, you make 2 field goals, you're not going to win again.
Without Reggie Miller and Tim Hardaway, this team, the average age, 25.2. Crozier once again trying a 3. Second chance opportunity, they'll reset.
And Crozier is a guy that falls in love with the 3. He does one of 2 things. He either drives it or shoots a 3, and in both possessions he's had it this quarter, they've been deep shots.
O'Neal doesn't connect. Delp pushing. Walker backing down on Mercer. Takes him right to the hole.
They always get a mismatch with Antoine Walker, even if he's being guarded by a power forward, because of his ability to move with the ball closer to the rim.
And a foul. Antoine Walker has great recognition. If he has somebody a little bit smaller, he's taking him right to the hole.
Now Walker wants the same call. You know, he said, hey, you saw the guy go down at my end of the floor. You call offensive foul. Crozier knocks this guy down. You didn't see that?
McGee picked up his first, and Crozier heads to the free throw line.
Well, San Antonio hit by 6 at the break, 47-41. But, you know, it's a struggle for them. And it's interesting that, you know, it took some good fortune for Phoenix to win, but it's given Phoenix the idea they can beat this team. This is the team with the best record in the NBA this season, 60-22.
Crozier from the line, successful. Well, you look at Stephon Marbury and the productivity he had during the regular season. Then, of course, in game 1 against San Antonio and Tony Parker, one of the most improved players in the NBA. They have a couple of all-stars, of course, in Phoenix. Sean Marion, and then the rookie Amari Stoudemire with 24 points.
Well, you also have to be lucky.
Yeah,
and they had a couple of, yeah, but I mean that's part of the playoffs. You know, you get some good bounces, you get some fortunate shots to go in, and you win a ball game. And I think that they have to feel very good about stealing that game when they were in trouble most of it.
After the Mercer foul, Pierce unable to connect. Pierce 4 of 8, 10 points. Walker has 10 points and 4 of 7 shooting. Walker leading the break, driving around Crozier. No, offensive rebound, McGee.
Wonderful imagination by Antoine Walker, and a better job of actually finishing the play, Tony Batiste.
5 offensive boards now for the Celtics. 9 second chance points to just 2 for Indiana. Crozier, another chance at 3. 0-3 from downtown.
The only way he's going to stop shooting that is for the coach to take him out of the game.
12 minutes in the first half. In game 1, did not play. In the second half, Pierce over Artest. One and done.
Well, Pierce is in one of those streaks now where that medium range jump shot isn't going. When that shot is going, he's impossible to deal with. So fortunately for Indiana, he's not making that 15-foot jump shot right now.
Artest fronts Pierce, left hand, spills out. Pierce and Delp quickly into the front court. Delp dribble drive, gets hammered from behind. And a foul on Austin Crozier, and a timeout with 4:48 remaining in the first half. The Indiana Pacers holding on to a 42-35 lead.
When the Pacers have done well, it's because they've had good ball movement, good player movement, and they've been able to find the guy to make...
About the performances over the course of this weekend, you mentioned Allen Iverson, 55, started here on Saturday with Paul Pierce. 40 points, 21 of his 40 in the fourth quarter. And the sensational big-time performances just continued.
Oh, they had a tremendous opening day individual effort. Nowitzki with a franchise-high 46, Philadelphia, and Iverson with 55. Reggie Miller comes back in this game. Brad Miller comes back in the game. Pass, cut, easy hoop for the Indiana Pacers. And that is what's missing, and that's what gets them in trouble when they don't move the ball, they don't cut you the bucket.
7 points now for Reggie Miller. The team, along with the veteran Grant Long, formerly of the Memphis Grizzlies.
Grant Long taking a real tough shot there. But Long is in to spell Antoine Walker briefly.
First time in the playoffs since 1999 when he's with the Atlanta Hawks. And Petit just earned his second.
We always talk about it, but rarely do teams do this on a consistent basis. You know, guy comes off the ball, little screen, cuts back door. Look how open Reggie Miller is. So Walker was out for a minute, and he's back in the game, along with Walter McCarty, Grant Long down, Tony Petit down.
Walker, fifth in the league in minutes played, better than 40. Brad Miller, curling Reggie. Mercer driving to the hole. And underneath, Artest battling for the rebound, and he is fouled. And since coming back out of that timeout, everything is, as you mentioned, is going toward the rim. Penetrating and cutting.
The second foul against Antoine Walker. The strength of Artest apparent on that play. He was a little slow in getting off his feet, but able to hold his position. Antoine Walker picked up the foul.
Artest 73% from the free throw line during the regular season. 9 of 9 in game 1.
A lot of attention being directed in the way of Tony Brothers by the Boston Celtics. And again, a lot of times players forget. It's not the official. It's them. And when you get focused on the official, you end up losing focus of the game. You get yourself in trouble.
Was an 18-point lead. 26-10-8 with 3:11 remaining in the first quarter. It is now a contest that has been sliced to single digits as Eric Williams cuts through the lane and lays it up and through. 4 points. 6-point game.
If you're the Boston Celtics, you have to say you feel good about where they are right now. I mean, look like they're going to be out of the ball game. Started very slowly, offensively, picked it up. The Indiana Pacers were shooting lights out. They were moving the ball. They were getting almost anything they wanted. Now everything is coming from the perimeter, which allowed Boston to get back in.
Crozier 0-4. Pierce in the corner. He finds McCarty, who connects on his third free. 12 points coming off of the bench for Walter McCarty, and a timeout taken by Isaiah Thomas and the Indiana Pacers. It is a 3-point game. A 20-second timeout.
Well, you know, one thing that you always talk about is teams, their personality, their tendencies. Boston likes to shoot the three. They like to use Walker and Pierce to set it up. If Walter McCarty's in the game, you can almost bet he's at the offensive end in the corner somewhere.
Sponsor with the armed forces as they continue their work over in Iraq. And Al Harrington prior to the game, along with Jermaine O'Neal and Jonathan Bender, heading over and signing some autographs.
Well, little known fact, you know, Indiana has a lot of war memorials and tributes to those that have fallen and served in the service. But Indiana, as a state, has probably sent more individuals into service than any other state in the Union. And they're very patriotic here. This night that the players are out doing it.
3-point game, Pacers on top. After the miss, Walker backing down on Miller. Over Miller. Short.
Well, Antoine not happy because that's his bread and butter shot right there, particularly against the smaller players, and he just rushed it a little bit.
Tinsley back in. Cutting underneath on the feed from Miller. Nice cut, nice look by Brad Miller. Miller had 6 assists on Saturday.
If you're Indiana, you got to say, this is what breaks Boston down. Ball movement, player movement. When we do that, we score easily. When we hold the ball, we have trouble with McCarty against the clock.
McCarty driving on Miller. Here comes in a ball to Jermaine O'Neal. Artest backed up for 3. 20 minutes. timeout, Boston.
22nd timeout. But they're on their feet because of the remarkable defensive save by Jermaine O'Neal. O'Neal has the ability to block shots. He always comes with the left hand, and he will meet there. He's trying to come with two hands, and you can tell which guy is the stronger of the two. McCarty goes away from the ball, and the ball is put back in play and out of play. Ron Artest brings them to their feet with a three.
Well, the Celtics got as close as they've been in the entire game, 45-42, and now on another run and dealt in the corner.
It's a 6-point game. Nearing a minute remaining here in the first half. The first half in which the Celtics trailed by 18. Reggie Miller short. Delk, stop and pop. No, offensive rebound once again for Boston. Underneath in the putback by McCarty.
McCarty snatched that one and said, Jermaine, where are you?
Enthused play by McCarty. Leads the way for the Celtics with 14.
8 in the quarter, but he has played a terrific game here for the Boston Celtics, bringing him back. They call this foul against
Walter McCarty. That is his first. Paul Pierce having a conversation with Tony Brothers.
Well, Reggie Miller has the art of drawing fouls down as well as anybody in the NBA, and a lot of players feel that Reggie throws himself into them and flails and gets the calls, but if you know that, you got to be ready. You know, Reggie understands how to get to the free throw line, even when he doesn't have the ball in his hand.
One of the great free throw shooters of all time, Miller. 5 of 5, talking about knowing how to get to the free throw line. 5 of 5 here in the first half tonight. Indiana shooting 48% from the floor. Boston 41%. Walker baseline. Good. 12 for Walker on 5 of 10 shooting. 4-point game.
Both Walker and Pierce have shown some great patience in their offensive efforts. A lot of times they're volume shooters and don't really involve their teammates, but tonight they've done that and scored themselves.
6 seconds remaining in the first half. Reggie Miller does. O'Neal, a rare offensive rebound and a putback for Indiana. O'Neal with 17 first half points. Turnover.
Everybody ran away from Blunt, and they got a 5-second count underneath the basket, so the Pacers have a chance to finish with 2.4 left with one more field goal.
Walker leads. Williams back out on the floor.
Oh, they get it back.
Blunt throws it right into the alleyway. He said, at least I got it back. Let's send it over to Andre Aldridge as the Indiana Pacers lead here at halftime, 54-48. Andre?
All right, thanks a lot. Here with Jermaine O'Neal. Jermaine, you guys get off to the big start. 26-8 are up, and they come back on you. Any big concern then?
We just got to contain our leads. I'm a little disappointed with the way we treated our lead. We're at home. It's playoff time. We got to be able to conserve our leads. And
third quarter, game 2. Celtics lead the series 1-0. Pierce with 4 on the clock. Shot doesn't fall.
Now, Pierce hit the line drive that one. He knew he was fighting the clock. He didn't even have the ball in his hands, but somehow got it on a string to hit the rim.
4-10 now from the field. 10 points, 5 rebounds, 4 assists in the first half. Led by Walter McCarty coming off the bench. With 14, Miller, jumper, no. And once again limited to 1 chance.
Pierce is a funny player in that when he plays from the outside, he doesn't make shots. He's still forceful because of the penetration, and he can set up the rest of his team.
Identical starting 5s for both teams at the start of the game. Artest switching on the floor. Miller touches it last, and it's Boston basketball.
Those are the kinds of mistakes. Look at how many people are in that cluster right there. And Artest is trying to squeeze the ball in an angle. Those are the kinds of mistakes they made in the fourth. That is what they have to fix if they're to put Boston away, if they want to go to Boston with a 1-1 split.
Pierce under 10 of the clock. Miller on him. Delp. Rather, Williams to Battie with 1 on the shot clock.
Just the second field goal of the night for Tony Battie.
Battie didn't play much in game 1 because he was ejected for a flagrant 2 early in the second quarter. Walker ahead to Williams. Williams pulls up over Artest. No. Battie going in for an opportunity in his second chance. And O'Neal took it away. Spin move, Kingsley, and a whistle. And a foul on Tony Delp. And that is his first.
Well, good thing the foul occurred because it was a 5-on-4 break, and Jermaine O'Neal's man, Tony Battie, was on the seat of his pants. If they had got the ball into him, he's got 17 in the first half. Bad news for the Celtics.
O'Neal up high, Battie on him. Miller underneath to Brad Miller. Tyler feed from Miller to Miller. 6 points, 5 rebounds for Brad Miller. Undrafted out of Purdue. Eric Williams. Short.
He is getting muscled by Jermaine O'Neal. Not happy with the non-call. He's getting bounced around pretty good.
Using some physical force. Tinsley through the lane. Here's Artest. And wrapped up was Brad Miller with Eric Williams. Boston basketball.
Shot selection is everything if you want to win a ball game. And just because the three-point field goal is there, you don't necessarily need to take it. Indiana's had their greatest success when they pass, when they cut, when they move.
Just 3 of 11 from three-point range. Take it away.
Decision-making, Walker, not a good one there. Artest in previous possessions, 2 bad decisions.
Artest, the tee comes out. Deflected by Delp. Here's Pierce. Behind the back, still working. Williams looks at the line, fires a 3, no.
Williams came out early, working on his perimeter shot. Hadn't made a one. Maybe should have stayed in.
Cool off instead of trying to get heated up. Working that sweat. Relax. 6 on the clock. Down to 5. Here's O'Neal. Another poked away.
Oh, wow. Well, you know, Tinsley just knocked Delp off the ball. No whistle will fly, and is livid over there about the non-call.
Artest. Foul.
Jermaine O'Neal.
Boston gets it back. That is his second. Both teams struggling here early on in the third. Boston 1 of 5. Indiana 2 of 5.
Well, O'Neal said, I wouldn't have gotten this foul if the guy hadn't had the seat of my pants. I could have moved that other leg, but he couldn't move his other leg as he just leaned over there and popped. Paul Pierce underneath.
He's wrapping him up. Pierce to Battie. And a timeout taken by Indiana. Once again, a 4-point lead for Indiana. The Celtics trailing 56-52 in game 2.
You've got to have pressure on the ball in order to prevent plays like this. No pressure on Paul Pierce. Money for Tony Battie. And he gets off for moves it up. And he's going, wait, do you see the guy holding my pants?
He had a lot of cloth. Did Walker. Miller using the O'Neal screen to free himself up, and Battie with a rebound.
Right now, Reggie Miller doesn't look fluid on his shot. Looks a little bit stiff, like he's a little bit out of sync. Well, they get a foul on the Pierce penetration and drive. Ron Artest, that they had stolen that ball.
Artest just earned his second. Williams will trigger the basketball in. 7:14 remaining here in the third quarter. Slow start for both teams. Pierce sheds Artest for three. Connects. In a one-point game with 7:04 remaining in the third quarter, 56-55. And the crowd silent. Artest on the skip pass.
Now, Boston has offensively confused, defensively has confused Indiana. Brad Miller bails them out there. They didn't know where to go. It looked like a zone, but it wasn't really a zone as they had three people around Jermaine O'Neal.
Miller with 8 points. Pierce. Driving baseline. Skip to the basketball. And a foul on Jamal Tinsley. And that is his first.
We spoke of Reggie Miller's ability to draw fouls, and Paul Pierce is his equal. The crowd is really upset with what they think is a bad call as Pierce lost control of the ball but just threw his arms up. Oh, it's tight. It is really tight in San Antonio. A one-point game, 63-62.
And coming up later on TNT, Utah and Sacramento game 2. Sacramento won game 1. Of course, on Saturday, an NBA playoff record, most free throws made without a miss. Here's 21 of 21. He has a couple of misses tonight. 2-point game. Knocked out of bounds. Indiana basketball.
Remember when we talked about the first half of play and the way that the Boston's defensive attitude was? It was passive. They allowed the ball to move. Now they're not letting that ball move freely. Artest will get the foul against Eric Williams. They're starting to pressure at the point of attack, and the Indiana Pacers are holding the ball a lot longer than they did in that first half of play.
Celtics extremely difficult on the inside. In fact, they hold opponents to just 31 points a game in the paint. That is best in the NBA. Right now, Indiana with 26, and a lot of those came early. The foul. And foul off the tee. That is his third.
He's got to learn to foster and from Walker so you don't get caught. But
wrap him up from behind.
You got to get a hold of him where the official doesn't see your hands.
The shorts. 6 on the clock. 5 on the clock. O'Neal wants it. Miller puts it on the floor. And with 2 seconds remaining of the shot clock, Indiana basketball.
When you lose control of the ball, it's best to pretend that you're angry. And you're mad. You know somebody fouled you. Miller never had control of that ball coming around the corner.
Miller wants to get back to the line because he's 5 of 5 there. Bernie Fryer with the whistle. And Eric Williams just picked up his third. Artest heads to the line.
Celtics have 3 team fouls, but that's a play that shouldn't happen. And Artest showing some of the athleticism and the strength on that play to be able to catch the ball and get it up.
Pacers trying to fend off the Boston Celtics. Led by 16 in the third quarter on Saturday. Shrunk to 10 entering the fourth quarter. Expanded to 13 with a little bit more than 7.5 minutes remaining before the Celtics came back to steal game 1. Remember, best of 7.
It was a 3-point lead, and this is one of the noisiest build-ins in the NBA when the Pacers are playing well. But the crowd is nervous and anxious about what is going to take place here in game 2.
Wow. Maybe so are the youthful Indiana Pacers. The team fading away. 1-point game. Miller. 1. They're on their feet now. Reggie Miller. 11 points.
The beauty of this play is the quickness in which the Indiana Pacers attack. No dribbling. They get the ball to Miller early, and only as Reggie Miller can do double clutching, taking a little bit of a nick from Paul Pierce on the way, a chance for a 3-point play.
He is successful. 12 points, half earned from the free throw line. 4-point game. The T looks for the handoff on Pierce. He just picked up his first, trying to guard Reggie Miller. The three doesn't fall. And then one above the backboard. And Tinsley quickly gets it in as Pierce is looking for the call. Miller stealed along the baseline. O'Neal steps in. Shot spills out. The T's right there.
They have not gone in the direction of Antoine Walker much here in the third quarter. He's got the ball now. Let's see what he does. When he hasn't had it for a while, he gets a little bit anxious and usually throws up a bad shot.
Young's shot doesn't go. Tinsley into the front court. Miller underneath. The Pacers responding. After the lead was cut to 59-58, they now lead 64-58.
Now, both teams have scored 10 points in the quarter, so they're back to the original halftime deficit. Williams trying to score inside. Thought he was going to draw the foul, got nothing.
Miller disrupting. Here's Reggie Miller. Brad Miller taps it, and it's Boston basketball. Antoine Walker and Reggie Miller.
Nobody likes to talk more than Antoine Walker, and Reggie Miller gets inspired by talk. So we'll see if that translates into something good or bad for either one of those guys.
Pierce. Here's Williams. Trying to work and uses quickness on Brad Miller. Shot with one on the shot clock. Spills out. Artest pushing ahead. Here's Tinsley. Finds Reggie for three. No. Pierce positioned perfectly underneath. Delta. Here's Eric Williams. Into the hands of Pierce. Stolen away by Artest. Scooped up by Walker. Under 10 of the shot clock. And Walker calls a timeout as he falls to the floor.
Well, he got hit in the eye, and Artest is trying to see if he's...
Artest needs to walk away. He's trying to help him out.
He's trying to help him out, but his teammates are trying to pull him away, and he said, look, I'm going to see if the guy's okay.
He's trying to make a point.
You know, that's all he was doing. But this tells you when he decides he's going to do something, nobody's going to stop him from doing it.
Well, he said that before. He has said that. He slapped him in the face in a full timeout to say goodbye to the Boston Celtics, and Paul Pierce went over to tell Ron Artest, just get out of the way, but Artest was intent on remaining right there to see and help and assist Antoine Walker to his feet. And right now, he's being checked out as Antoine Walker.
Antoine Walker get hit, and in the ensuing play, Artest knows that he raked Antoine Walker across the eyes. Now he's trying to see if he's okay, and this is where the melee comes, because all he's trying to do is take a look at this guy. Reggie Miller's trying to pull him away and say, get away from him, and Paul Pierce is saying, get off my guy. No mean intentions there by Ron Artest at all.
And a technical foul called on Paul Pierce. The reason for the Reggie Miller free throw. Walker for three.
I guess he's seeing all right.
He's got the eyes, or the eyes.
I guess he's seeing okay.
Miller. McGee hedges. O'Neal. Entry pass taken away by McGee. They're making it tough on Jermaine O'Neal.
Well, again, in order to get the ball to O'Neal, they had to do a better job of moving the ball and getting a better angle. You can't throw the ball from that angle and think you're going to get it in. Tough shot, Walker.
Hands on the iron, and then falls off.
Walker didn't quite have his balance on that shot, but he felt it and missed it short.
Tinsley.
You see, this is the kind of play that hurt them in the fourth, where they're standing, trying to post. You can almost see the direction of the attack.
and the Boston Celtics are reacting. Petit comes from the rear, slaps that one away. So they've got to do a better job of screening. That's why Isaiah Thomas is taking the timeout. We cannot become a team that stands and becomes predictable because we get too much time to play.
Tony Petit extremely active here in the third quarter. Jermaine O'Neal stuck on 17. A full timeout taken by the Indiana Pacers. Stretching out the lead to 7, 68-61. Tinsley with 11 points in all 5. Starters for the Indiana Pacers in double digits with 1:54 to go in the third. 68-61. Matt Devlin along with Steve Stafford-Jones. Game 2. First round action between the Celtics and the Pacers. Celtics lead the series 1-0. Pierce over Artest. Artest got a piece. Petit, 4 seconds remaining on the shot clock. And a foul will go against Antoine Walker. That's his third. Antoine Walker questioning Bernie Fryer.
He did not much in the way of responses. He just kept holding his 2 fingers up and looking around.
Bonus situation, Miller executing from the free throw line.
For the most part, it's been a tight third quarter. Phoenix now on top by 7, 72-65 against the San Antonio Spurs. 2 at the SEC. A huge start for the Phoenix Suns.
Jeff Foster in for Brad Miller. Reggie Miller has the most playoff games ever in the history of this franchise, ABA or NBA. 111 games with 110. Roger Brown. He tied that mark on Saturday, the great former Indiana Pacer during the ABA days here in Indianapolis. 70-61 Pacers on top now by 9. The lead was 59-58. Since that time, just 3 points for the Celtics. Here's J.R. Bremer for 3. 62% of the rookie shots come from downtown. Dribble drive, kick out. Pierce, straightaway look. No!
Bremer's been sitting for about a month and came in firing. So even though most of the shots come from out there, you like to get a sense and a feel of the game. Bremer to the floor to make the save.
Here's Walker. Bremer. Under a minute remaining in the third.
And when Pierce was driving to the bucket in the fourth quarter, he's getting a clear side. He's not been getting it so far. Bremer gets one, finishes the play.
Speaking of driving, Bremer takes it right to the hole. His first 2. Didn't score in game 1. Said he did not expect to play this much in his rookie season after being undrafted. He has played a bundle this year, starting for the Boston Celtics. Over the last 47 games, started 41 games and averaged double digits. Holding for the final shot of the third quarter.
Normally in this situation, the ball will end up in either Pierce's hands or Antoine Walker's hands. They have Bremer trying to set the table. Pump fake, he tried to draw the foul.
Because he got the deuce to go. But you're right, he was trying to get the call. And he was unable to do so as J.R. Bremer knocks down the deuce. As we go to the fourth quarter, it's a 5-point game. Set for fourth quarter action in game 2. Moments ago, Jim O'Brien, and it is Huddle talking to his Celtics.
You guys are playing a lot of minutes.
by 10 did the Celtics entering the fourth quarter. Tonight by 5. They trailed by 13 with 7.5 minutes to go in the fourth and came away with a remarkable victory, 103-100, led, of course, by Paul Pierce. Under 10 of the clock. McCarty with a hand in the face of Artest. No, Crozier got a piece of it, and Bremer tears it down.
One of the reasons that Boston is not as explosive as they were a year ago is because they don't have the same personnel. No Rodney Rogers, no Kenny Anderson. So with Walker and Pierce having to carry such a heavy load, they have a tendency to walk it a lot more up the floor, and that allows Indiana at least to control them defensively. But this is Paul Pierce's time. He's coming to the fourth quarter. We'll see if Pierce wakes up.
Misses his first shot of the fourth quarter. Tinsley along with Artest O'Neal on the floor. Austin Crozier, Al Harrington had to sit early because of foul trouble. Limited to one shot. McCarty plus Pierce, J.R. Bremer, and Walker cutting underneath. 3-point game. Nice find by the rookie out of St. Bonaventure.
Well, Bremer, since that early three-point shot when he first came in, has done some good things, and it's been 6 straight points by the Celtics.
He has 4 of 18 in the fourth quarter on Saturday in Game 1 were the Indiana Pacers.
They did such a great job of getting O'Neal the ball in the first half of play, and they have not been able to get him many here in the second. Artest on his own.
A double-double for Jermaine O'Neal, 17 points and 14 rebounds, but second half, Jermaine O'Neal.
It's hard to score.
He's over for the game. 14 from the floor. Travel by Blunt. Turnover.
What the Boston Celtics do in early transition is get Walker out on the wing, and then they dive to the bucket, one of the easier hoops they've had the entire ball game. That basket made it a 3-point game, but Indiana came right back, pushed it back to 5.
O'Neal with just one shot attempt in the second half. Petit. There's Pierce. And a foul on Pierce.
Petit gambled out in front, and that turned Jermaine O'Neal loose, and Pierce reached in. So Jermaine O'Neal goes to the line and looking a little weary right now.
Here's his second. Celtics do an excellent job of sandwiching the post. Jermaine O'Neal heads to the free throw line, where he is 1 of 2. And 2 points in the fourth quarter in Game 1. Both earned from the free throw line. Antoine Walker had to guard him for the majority of the fourth. Held him scoreless. 6-point game. O'Neal. The lengthy pause. Gets going. 19 now for Jermaine O'Neal. Pierce. Walker helps out with the screen. Under 10 of the clock. Kick out. McCarty driving. Off glass. Gets the roll.
McCarty has been the big difference so far in the game for the Boston Celtics. He's come up with some huge hustle plays and showing a lot of activity at the offensive end.
16 points for Walter McCarty. It's always with the Celtics. Who's going to be the third player that steps up? Crozier knocks down the bucket. First made field goal of the night, 1 of 5. And that's what makes the Celtics difficult at times, because you don't know who it's going to be. Whether it's Williams, Petit, McCarty, and tonight it's McCarty forcing it off to be Tony Bell. Under 10 of the clock. Walker spins back. O'Neal's there. Bremer was full on the clock for 3. Crozier handles the board.
For the Celtics, sometimes they start that offense out in front with Pierce and Walker. That makes
makes it difficult for them to get the penetration. You can't penetrate as Pierce is going to pick up the foul against Jermaine O'Neal, but you can't penetrate against 5 guys, and that's where they're having trouble, and it's cost them a little bit at the offensive end.
No foul. McCarty, 16 points off of the bench as the Celtics.
Eddie Berry, so he has a chance of making a shot when it comes to him. Because I guarantee you, there's no oxygen to the brain right now.
Claxton, blocked by Stoudemire. Popovich wanted a goaltend, but that appeared to be on the way up.
That did look like on the way up. Great play by Stoudemire.
Marbury, Marion for 3. Stoudemire, the rebound. Can't finish, and Jackson with the rebound. No one can hit a shot. Popovich wants timeout.
Very much. You know what? Isaiah Thomas's big concern at halftime is something that he stressed, and it had nothing to do with scoring points, which might surprise some of the fans. It's the Pacers' defense, and he wanted to stop Antoine Walker and Paul Pierce from getting into the paint in the middle of the floor and making the easy passes back to the open shooters. And he stressed that they had to do that in order to be successful, and that's why they're trying to keep these guys out of the paint, both of them, to make those easy passes for easy buckets for the teammates.
Thank you, Andre. Jermaine O'Neal at the free throw line, and San Antonio Phoenix are locked up in a tight one. O'Neal 78-69.
A 1-point game. So San Antonio trying to fight their way back, get control. Pierce.
And it's Boston basketball. Last touch by Artest. O'Neal a double-double, 21 points and 14 rebounds.
Well, let's see if they change the angle of attack for Walker and Pierce, and whether they can come from the wing, because coming down the middle has become very difficult for them, and they're not getting really a good chance to penetrate, which is forcing Boston to settle for perimeter shots.
Tinsley got a piece of that one. 9-point advantage for Indiana. Tinsley. Harrington. Trying to set up O'Neal.
When they get like this is when they get in trouble. This is going against the shot clock now, which is now down to 5.
Artest creating, left hand scoop, no. Walker out on the run, now slows it down. Under 8 minutes remaining in the fourth. Here at Conseco Fieldhouse. Pierce trying to get on track. No. McCarty, second chance.
See, O'Neal is back there playing safety as Pierce is going to turn this over.
Pierce. And a timeout taken by Indiana as Tinsley was able to gobble it up. And Blunt, or rather McCarty over there with O'Neal's the 20-second timeout. Paul Pierce, 5 of 16, 14 points, and has been unable to find the flow, and now it's extended to a full timeout. 78-69. Pacers.
Side of the lane down there for him to get it over the top of the rim. There's about 19,000 people in this building here praying, actually. Duncan now 3 of 5 from the line tonight. 10 points here in the fourth quarter. Duncan comes right back and pumps his fist. To help kick it out for a wide open 3, but I expect Stepan to take it to the hole hard. And you can bet they'll foul right away. Spurs, as we mentioned, not a good free throw shooting team. Hardaway just misses on the 3. Marion keeps it alive, but it goes to Ferry. And precious time will go off the clock. Suns now have to foul. Rashawn Marion played 45 minutes and has 6 points. And Frank Johnson screaming, and they let so much time off the clock. Very poor decision-making there from the Suns. Well, you can't rely on the coach. I mean, there's 19,000 people going crazy.
So Boston, if they're to get back in it, they're going to have to find a way to shake Pierce loose, and Indiana's going to try to maintain that same defensive attitude.
Crozier cutting. Gives it up. Miller in the corner for 3. Second look. Crozier. Up top, Miller through the fingertips right to Williams.
Never going to say Reggie shouldn't be out there.
Get out. They won't say that. Trying to get him out on the floor in the fourth quarter. A lot of talk around Indianapolis about that. Williams cut off by O'Neal. get him out there, but he used up his timeouts, did Isaiah Thomas. And so Miller unable to get out on the floor. A few moments of the fourth quarter late. Our checks. Bruce Miller's done it so many times. Underneath, O'Neal.
Good job by Walker and McCarty to come around and wrap up. O'Neal, well, it looks like San Antonio's going to get in it. To be in the series here with 12 seconds left.
Was coming up. Utah-Sacramento game 2 on TNT. Williams trying to set up Walker. Under 10 of the shot clock. Ducks in the lane. Shot spills out. Walker, 17 points. Pierce, 14.
They've been stuck on those numbers for quite some time, and if they don't get bigger numbers, then the Boston Celtics don't win. So they've got to get their big hitters to start ringing the bell.
Big hitter, Tinsley ringing the bell there with another three. Tinsley, 4 of 4 from downtown.
I thought you said he only shot 47%.
He done, and 1 of 7 against Boston during the regular season, but this is the postseason. Here's slicing. Here's McCarty.
Are they going to get a foul on the pass off?
Yes. 81-69.
Well, you couldn't get a bigger shot from Tinsley as we get down to the 6-minute mark, and the Boston Celtics are struggling offensively.
Neal his third personal. Tinsley ties him up. He picks up a foul as Delk put it on the deck. Stretch back out to a double-digit lead, and Delk heads to the free throw line. Tinsley picked up his second.
There's still plenty of time for Celtics fans and their team to get back in the ball game, but they got to be a little bit quicker with their decision making and fluid in their offense. That ball is stopping too much, and when the ball stops, the defense catch and they see where you're going, and you end up not getting good attempts. They have scored so far here in the fourth 5 points.
And of those 5,
and Mr. Fourth Quarter has yet to open up his office. Paul Pierce has yet to strike.
Walker has 2. They combine for close to 48% of this offense. They need to get on track. Miller misses, and McCarty tracks it down.
Reggie Miller has yet to make a three-point shot. But anybody that knows Reggie Miller, they make one more pass, and that's a good touch for Tony Delk for the finish. They know that he doesn't believe that he's in a slump. They know he doesn't believe that he's not going to make a shot. So he's going to keep sticking them as long as he's out there. We'll see if one finally drops.
Reggie Miller has yet to hit from downtown 0-6. An excellent job of getting to the free throw line. 4 on the shot clock, down to 3. O'Neal makes his move. 23 for O'Neal. Pierce hasn't scored here in the fourth. After scoring 21 of his 40 in game 1 in the fourth quarter. McCarty deflected by Crozier. 11-point advantage for Indiana.
Well, Tinsley looking back and getting a call from Isaiah Thomas, and what Thomas wants to do is not only use some clock, but he wants to get the ball moving, getting guys going to the bucket. They don't want to be standing around, and then 2 on the clock for Tinsley.
His first miss, he was really stretched out. Gets wrapped up by Tinsley. And that's a third on Tinsley.
Well, Jermaine O'Neal hasn't had many opportunities, but in a solo situation in the second half, gets that tough fadeaway jumper to fall in to push the lead to 11, and Tony Delk is back on the line. Right now, Tony Delk is the feature offensive player for the Boston Celtics. Got 4, looking at 5 in the quarter, and just trying to keep Boston close. 4 minutes to go, and Boston still has a shot.
Delk had a dozen on Saturday. Jermaine O'Neal did not score in the third quarter. An excellent job by the defense of the Celtics. Here in the fourth, he has 6. Crozier, open, takes it, doesn't go.
Long arms stretching out. Pierce coming in a hurry now.
7 rebounds from McCarty. Count. Saves it. Time of the shot clock. Williams. 8. McCarty dribble drive. Williams. The 3 ball doesn't go.
One go too much. Wasted the ball. He hasn't made a shot from in that corner since he came out.
1 of 10. 4 points tonight after an 18-point performance on Saturday. Walker on O'Neal trying to push him away from the block. Miller for 3. Reggie Miller responding to the crowd. Finally is what Reggie Miller is saying. He hits a big free and a timeout taken by the Celtics.
So it has been Indiana's ability to make the big 3-point field goal here in the fourth quarter, and the Celtics' inability to make anything in the fourth that has given Indiana the lead. And Miller time finally has arrived, and Reggie says, you know, this is what I live for, and maybe this
Shot that fell for Reggie Miller extends that lead, and Paul Pierce has struggled in the fourth, battling, of course, a severe head cold, and it hasn't worked in the fourth like it did in game 1.
Well, Pierce is not a player that will make excuses for his performance, but you have to go a long way back to find out when Paul Pierce is not scratched in the fourth, and he has not cracked here in the final period of play, and they need Pierce to play big. Walker as well. Walker on the drive, picks up the foul. That's a lot.
Walker at the free throw line. His first attempt of the night.
What they Celtics need is the clock to stop. So they need plays to drive the ball, stop the clock, get a chance to score. For the Indiana Pacers, they would like to see that clock continue to move. So they got to make sure that they don't foul, and when they get to the other end, move the ball and move themselves. It is just a 9-point quarter for the Indiana Pacers. So if for the Boston Celtics, so the Indiana Pacers feel that defense is the difference. They have certainly achieved that.
In this 10-point game, 6 on the shot clock. Crozier for 3. No. Kingsley sneaks in and snares the board. And Reggie Miller tells him to get up top and set this thing up.
Well, again, they want to use time off the clock. And so they're looking to use as much time as they try to get the ball. They're going to get it to Jermaine O'Neal. Going to call Walker with the foul. That is exactly what occurred. It's approved. And that's his move. When has it? You've never seen him say, yeah, it was a good play. You have to think about that for a while. They always do that too.
Crozier with a putback. Can't finish. 1 or 2 minutes remaining. The last time Pierce scored a field goal in the third quarter, 7:09 was on the clock.
But he has been making difficult choices and trying to get the shot going. And taking a lot of shots deep and
frustration of the night for Antoine Walker. You know, I think that they thought they were going to win this game. With all the talk about the Pacers were cold in the court, and they didn't, and they thought they would go home 2-0. They're frustrated with themselves.
Celtics have never led in this game. They cut it to 59-58. However, the youthful and Walker and O'Neal will continue to have a conversation. O'Neal tapped Walker in the back of the head. But the youthful Indiana Pacers responded when it was 59-58.
It's a long series as far as the Indiana Pacers are concerned, and they know that it's going to be more physical than Boston. So O'Neal is letting them know that this is the way it's going to be. I'm going to be here all 48.
And of course, again, the split crucial for the Indiana Pacers because they are tied with Orlando for the worst Eastern Conference road record by a playoff team at 16-25. Now Phoenix put a team at 27 on the road. Didn't matter in game 1, and they put up a fight in game 2 at the SBC Center in San Antonio. Pleased with the effort tonight as fans here at Conseco Fieldhouse. They were certainly in top in the fourth quarter. Our test Saturday in game 1. But they are pleased tonight.
In the end, the Indiana Pacers did a better job defensively and offensively. They wanted it more, and their fans stand in approval.
Jermaine O'Neal led on 20 rebounds, 23 points, 17 defensive rebounds. Ties the playoff career high. Jermaine O'Neal, tremendous effort. Paul Pierce tonight, we talked about it at the top of the show, what he did on Saturday in game 1, but the Magic did not return in the fourth quarter.
Well, that's an aberration for Paul Pierce. Normally the fourth quarter is...
After an off night, the